The sport's sponsored by rockauto.com. Padres, Tatis blasts a walk-off home run in the ninth inning last night to win the series against the Reds 5-4. They'll have an off day today, be back tomorrow night in Baltimore, taking on the Orioles for an earlier start time at 4:05. In the NBA Finals, the greatest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals ever. The Knicks come back down 29 at home to win it on an OG Anunoby tip-in. Game 5 will be Saturday night at 5:30. San Antonio looking to stay alive. They're currently 5.5-point favorites. And then we got Game 5 as well as the Stanley Cup Final. Vegas taking the show on the road against the Carolina Hurricanes. That game is at 5 o'clock. Carolina is a -148 at home. A failed stroke can turn any drive into a rough ride when it's time for repairs. Rock Auto makes finding the right parts easy. Shop name brands at lower prices and have parts shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
Yeah, let's get it rocking on a Thursday. What's happening, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy, we'll keep it rolling after that from 2 to 3. Schaefer and Sliwa will be your drive home. We got a busy one today, man. We got a lot going on in the sports world. We got a couple of guests coming up on the show. We have a couple of giveaways coming up on the show today. If you would like to win them, you're going to have to use the talkback mic. So while you're listening, bright and bushy-tailed, San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app. Tap the little red microphone icon. We'll let you know what to say. We'll let you know how to qualify. But we got Dave Chappelle tickets. We got Parker McCollum tickets. Both will be given away over the next couple of hours. Huge night in the NBA. NBA Finals Game 4 was chaotic, insane.
Crazy.
Ridiculous. One of the greatest NBA Finals game ever. Not really because of great play by both teams over the course of 2 halves, but just the results of it all was insanity. We'll get into it a ton. Tatis clutching up, having the opportunity to maybe do the funniest thing ever this year. Fernando Tatis Jr. with a walk-off home run yesterday. That was a frozen rope to left field. My God. So we'll get into all of it over the next couple of hours. Steve Hartman's going to be joining us today.
Special Thursday appearance from Steve.
So a little backstory here. Tomorrow, we're going to be out at Little Italy. We're going to be broadcasting live ahead of Team USA, who's going to be taking on Paraguay in the first game of the World Cup for Team USA. World Cup getting started today. Very, very excited about that. You're going to be able to listen to a ton of the action right here on San Diego Sports 760. But we usually have Steve Hartman on Fridays. Turns out someone was listening to Steve Hartman last Friday when he was on our show and heard some of his comments about soccer and the World Cup and said, we're doing this whole thing tomorrow because we're excited for the World Cup.
I don't like that people are keeping down, in my opinion, the greatest voice in San Diego history.
I'd say Southern California sports radio history.
Listen, Steve wants to rip soccer, and Steve's going to rip soccer. That's what Steve Hartman's going to do, okay?
But to be fair, I am genuinely getting very, very excited for the World Cup. I love talking to Darren Smith yesterday and kind of getting the inside look at what's happening with Team USA. In fact, we got Greg Denholm coming on today at 12:30. I'm really excited to talk to him and kind of get the background on what's going on with Team USA. Tomorrow, I'll be locked in when Canada's playing the Czech Republic. I'll be locked in when Team USA is taking on Paraguay. This is going to be a lot of fun over the next month or so of watching the World Cup. And we're going to be literally broadcasting in front of tons and tons of soccer fans tomorrow who are also excited for the World Cup. Do they want to hear this, Sammy? Fletch, here's the deal. No, dude, that's not going to happen. So we're going to have some fun with Steve today.
Watching people kick a ball back and forth.
We'll talk NBA Finals with Steve coming up at 12:30 or 1:30 today. Very excited for it. Looking forward to it.
It's getting started right now. Mexico's underway. Very excited for all of it.
Dude, this is going to be fun. And Long Shots, I'm assuming, is going to have some World Cup action on it today.
Oh, of course we're going to have some World Cup action.
This is going to be very, very fun. All right, let's start with last night's basketball game because, my God, a lot of people, I'm sure, got to about halftime in last night's game and said, don't need to watch this. I'll be back for Game 5. That would have been the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life. Because, my God, the second half, what the New York Knicks did, what the New York Knicks have now done twice in one postseason run is come back from impossible deficits to win games. And last night, the way they did it, I still don't really believe it. But the Spurs in the fourth quarter scored 14 points. An NBA team scored 14 points in one quarter of basketball, the third quarter, and they followed that up with 16 points in the fourth quarter. This was an all-time collapse by the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe the biggest collapse, definitely the biggest collapse in the NBA Finals history. and the Knicks took full advantage of it. Like, it doesn't happen unless both of those things happen. The Knicks had to play damn near perfect in the second half, which I think they did, and the Spurs had to be an absolute disaster in the second half, which they definitely were. So we can get into all the little idiosyncrasies of that game because there was a lot of them. How many opportunities did the Spurs have not to lose that game? How many timeouts could Mitch Johnson have called? How many situations where Mitch Johnson could have just said, hey, why don't we stop shooting threes and take a little time off the clock? Could there have been last night? Any of those for 1 millisecond would have changed the outcome of that game. But instead, the Knicks clutch up, hit big shot after big shot after big shot, and Victor Wembanyama could not hit water if he was falling out of a boat last night in the second half. And it leads to one of the most miraculous OG Anunoby tip-ins you've ever seen in your life.
I mean, if you're a Spurs fan listening right now, man, I'm sorry.
Which I think our buddy Rich is. So I'm sorry, Rich.
Rich might be taking today off from the show. I don't even blame him. The San Antonio Spurs, I mean, you can point to in Texas 70470 start your message with team. Who's most to blame? Because you start with Wemby's the obvious one. 10 of 12, missed his final 10 of 12 shots, missed the 2 free throws at the end of that game. Then you got De'Aaron Fox. I thought De'Aaron Fox would have a bounce back game. He was awful in game 1, had 20 points in game 2, kind of got it together, had a clutch shot in game 3. And then to have the turnover at half court, to have the foul, and then to take the shot, take the layup instead of just dribbling the ball out, going to the free throw line and putting pressure on. There's that. But then a guy who I don't think is getting as much criticism as should today is Mitch Johnson. Mitch Johnson, to what you just said about they're launching threes in the third quarter, and anyone who's watched basketball at any level, when you shoot threes and you're missing them, it allows easy transition points the other way because the ball is bouncing off the rim way farther out. So you're able to get some easy buckets and break down a big deficit. And why he had Julian Champagnie in the game late in the fourth quarter, he was getting abused on defense and he would not take Champagnie out. Champagnie was really good for the first couple games of the series, was not good last night. I mean, they're 5.5 points in game 5. We were talking a little bit before the show. I don't know if you come back from that mentally. Like if you're San Antonio, we're going to know very early in this game on Saturday night if they're going to be back in the series. Because if they roll over and die and then it's like you were a 29-point lead, you blew it, that's kind of it. Maybe they come out the other way where they come out with a little bit of a vengeance, but that was a spectacle to watch last night.
It was insanity, man. And I don't know how the Spurs come back for that. It's such a young Spurs team. And while it's wildly talented, and it is like Stephon Castle being wide open for the last second dunk, but Karl Anthony Towns gets a fingertip on the inbounds pass. Like that's going to stick with you. De'Aaron Fox, how about the entire second half De'Aaron Fox played? I don't think I've ever seen someone be more careless with a basketball. And then, what the hell is he doing driving to the basket? He didn't need to. The Knicks would have fouled him in that situation. He just needed to dribble it out a little bit, but he drives to the basket. OG Anunoby, the hero of the game, blocks the shot, and then it goes back the other way, and that's when everything happened. Wild how many opportunities there were. I kind of think of it like this, though. The Knicks do have a little bit of that team of destiny flair to them right now. And if the Spurs buy into that at all, like if they even think that for a second, they already lost game 5. Like if they're thinking like, oh, this is the team that's supposed to win. Look at everything that's happened. The game against the Cavs where they came back from, 22 down in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. This game last night where they were down 29 points. 29 points in the second half should be a lead that no NBA team can ever give up, especially not in the finals. And the fact that they do, man, I don't know what to do with this Knicks team, but it feels like they can't lose.
913s, the Spurs are toast. Stick a fork in them. 615, De'Aaron Fox's last 3 possessions, he has to go by Aaron Fox. I mean, what's a bigger gaffe? J.R. Smith in the NBA Finals in Game 1, passing up the layup against the Warriors, or De'Aaron Fox going up for the layup in this one?
I would say De'Aaron Fox. It was like they're both brutal mistakes, but the De'Aaron Fox is just like high schoolers know that in that situation. There was 11, 12 seconds on the clock?
And he's the one guy. If this was Dylan Harper.
Right, he's the one guy who has playoff experience.
Right.
He's been in huge moments.
If this is Dylan Harper, you chalk it up to he's literally 20 years old. He's a rookie and he's playing in the NBA Finals on the road. You made a dumb decision. De'Aaron Fox, he's been in the playoffs. He's an 8-year NBA veteran, 9-year NBA veteran, and he's making this decision. He's the one guy, even over Wemby, Castle, and Harper, because they're all such kids. They've never been here before. And for Fox to make that kind of play, I mean,
I would also throw coaching on that play out there. Like, there was a stoppage, like less than a minute before then. Like there's a situation where Mitch Johnson can say, "Hey, everyone knows this, but I'm going to reiterate it anyways."
If we get a stop, you're going to pull it out and make them foul you.
Exactly. They had every opportunity not to lose that game, but they did. You know what, Sammy? We're going to push the big three because this is too much fun to talk about. Because we haven't talked about maybe the biggest moment of the game, and everyone points to the OG Anunoby tip in, as they should. And by the way, if De'Aaron Fox had missed that shot and the Spurs got the rebound, or not De'Aaron Fox, sorry, Jalen Brunson missed the shot and the Spurs got the rebound, we would be killing Jalen Brunson's shot selection. It was a bad shot for the final play. It was a bad draw up by the Knicks staff. Like, that is the final opportunity you're taking?
I was surprised because Mike Brown, it wasn't even like,
who was on the Warriors staff, by the way. He has 10 of these plays that you could have run like you used to run for Steph Curry.
Right, coming off a screen, getting Brunson open. I was surprised. He almost turned the ball over when they threw it in. He almost went backcourt, and then he just kind of runs and jacks it up. And how no one decided to get a body on OG Anunoby comes flying in. I mean,
that was the other thing. Have you watched the like kind of slow-mo recap from above, the half court angle of that play?
Yeah, and
my dude OG Anunoby was wide open. He had 30 points or 31 points at that time in the game. Like, he was on fire in the second half last night. Wide open for a shot because Jalen Brunson obviously is drawing two people. The Spurs figured he was going to be the one taking the shot. And then you could see OG Anunoby almost roll his eyes like, oh my God, he's shooting that shot when I'm sitting here wide open. And then he decides to make his break. So by the time he left, he was barely a foot inside the free throw line. So I think no one on the Spurs was even accounting for him because he was coming from so far back.
And if you are to the point about them double teaming Brunson, look, I get on the final play, you're expecting Brunson to take the shot. But why Mitch Johnson for a majority of the second half when the Knicks were not doing anything in the first half to score at all? Why you're doubling him the entire second half and Brunson wasn't even having that great of a game up until halftime? Why you're doubling him when you're up 29 points? I mean, you're giving open looks. When you have a lead like that, make them beat you one-on-one. And I get the thought process. You don't want their best player to get going, but leaving open shots is how you quickly get back in a game. When it's a tight game and someone's on fire and Jalen Brunson can't be stopped, I get the double because you're like, someone else has to beat us. When you're up 29 points and you're deciding to leave someone open on one end of the floor because you're doubling the star who hasn't even been that great up until that point, made no sense to me. If they lose this game 5, you wonder if this Spurs team, if Mitch Johnson gets fired, despite the fact that he's in the NBA Finals, the gas at the end of this game.
Sure.
If Greg Popovich were here, that wouldn't be happening.
Sure. Now Mitch Johnson did get them to a finals this year. No one expected them to be here, right? It was this Spurs team was supposed to be a year or even 2 years out. Like, they were expecting Wemby needs to put on 25 pounds, which he desperately does, before this team was supposed to be here. But they're here now. So that you give them a lot of credit for.
Right.
I'm still going to say my MVP for last night, and people may disagree with this because of the game OG Anunoby had, is Karl-Anthony Towns.
Phenomenal.
Dude, big cat. How about the plate? Like, we talk about the OG Anunoby tipping. No one's talking about the fact that if Karl-Anthony Towns does not tip the inbounds pass on the other side after the timeout, Stephon Castle's wide open for a dunk. And like, you talk about great play design for the last second, that little up screen that the Spurs ran to get Stephon Castle around the top, the play doesn't go to Wemby, their best player. It goes to Castle. Genius. And he was wide open.
And Karl-Anthony Towns in that game when it was 95-80, I believe. They're up 15. Knicks going on a little bit of a run, but feels like a tipping point at the end of the third quarter. Cat hits that three, falling out of bounds.
Huge.
And improbable shot. And it felt like when it got to 10, you could hear in the arena, the broadcast, everyone was like, oh, wait. Like, this is real now. This is not like this is you cut it from 29 to 15. It's like, yeah, you're still going to need a little bit of a miracle. Brunson, if they win the NBA Finals, will get MVP because he's the best player on the team, and he did have a big night last time with 36 points. But Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, and
Alvarado last night.
Jose Alvarado.
Where did he come from? He was great.
That dude went from playing on the New Orleans Pelicans to getting traded to the New York Knicks halfway through the year. I mean, you talk about
without him, they don't win the game last night.
And they usually don't play Alvarado and Brunson together because they're too small. So usually guards are able to take advantage of it. It is kind of amazing how Karl-Anthony Towns, of all players, has made Wemby work harder than Jokic in the regular season, than Chet Holmgren in the Western Conference Finals. Like, bigs that we would all say are better than him. I wouldn't say Chet is now, but like heading into the season, Karl-Anthony Towns has made Wemby work defensively, and you're seeing what happened. He's so gassed out at the end of these games.
Carl Anthony Towns played terrific, man. He's not going to get headlines or credit. I would give a lot of it to him today. All right, we're going to take our first break of the day. By the way, Dave Chappelle tickets are on the line. You need to use the talkback mic. Here's what we're going to do today. Open up the free iHeartRadio app while you're listening to San Diego Sports 760. Tap the little red microphone icon. When you do, a little box will pop up. You can leave us a talkback. We want to know, does this series end in 5? Do the Knicks go on the road to San Antonio and win game 5, or do the Spurs still have something left in the tank? Let us know on the free iHeartRadio app. Hit us up on the talkback. If you do that, you're automatically entered to win a pair of tickets to go see Dave Chappelle on June 21st, which will be a sold-out show at Viejas Arena. All right, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. We're talking Fernando Tatis Jr. walking it off against the Reds yesterday. Coming up next. All right, we got some reaction from Spurs fans in the YouTube chat and on the text line. Our buddy Rich says if De'Aaron Fox doesn't try to shoot with 10 seconds and holds onto the ball, it's game over. And yeah, I go to a Spurs bar. Sorry, Rich.
Rich, I'm sorry. I know you're in some morning today, but hey, series is not done.
858. As a Spurs and Saints diehard fan, it's been a brutal stretch of bad playoff runs, and this one just goes up there with Derek Fisher, 0.4 seconds, Ray Allen corner banger, Stephon Diggs miracle, Kyle Rudolph push off walk off, and the no call PI versus the Rams. I won't even count the Padres disappointments because they don't have a championship standard to be held to. But damn it, that hurt bad. Haven't been able to open up social media or listen to the radio because the idea of hearing about how Fox shouldn't have taken that last shot will make me crash out so hard I'll end up in the news as a domestic terrorist. Only thing that can maybe heal me right now is a juicy long shot lineup for tonight.
858. I'm thank you for braving sports media today after a brutal showing last night. We will get you a juicy lineup coming up at 12:45.
12:45 today. Brand new long shots. Last night did not win, right?
Last night
the over hit.
No, it didn't.
It did not.
Listen, we were coming off a winner. Didn't work out. It's okay. We're back. We got some World Cup action today.
Perfect. We're gonna see if Sammy's tennis prestige can transfer over to the Padres world or to the.
Don't get me on the pitch.
Soccer world. All right, let's talk some Padres here, and we'll get back to Spurs Knicks. That game was tremendous, and we have plenty to talk about with it. But the Padres, something special did happen last night. In fact, Fernando Tatis Jr. hits a walk-off home run. Things that we probably didn't think were possible heading into yesterday's game. But I will say this: Fernando Tatis Jr. has an opportunity to do something pretty special here. Now, I don't know how likely this is. I'm just going to throw this out there. Because like the torch needed to be passed, right? Like we can all agree at this point after the years that we've seen it, Manny Machado is not a leader. Manny Machado is not someone who this team should be focused on anymore. I don't think he's slow. He's getting older. It would appear as if he's fallen off a cliff. Now he can change that around too, but as of right now, it would appear that Manny Machado has fallen off a cliff. And I think a lot of Padre fans, myself, Sammy, we look at Manny Machado as if the next 8 years of this GD contract is going to be a lot worse than the first 8.
Right.
Now, Fernando Tatis Jr. is in his athletic prime. Like when I say he has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever is what if instead of taking the torch from Manny, he just goes and snatches the torch from Manny. He has that personality. He can be that guy. We all saw it in 2019. Like Fernando can be the dude that leads the Padres into the next era. That's why you get a quote statue contract from a team. So what if Fernando, who I still believe has all the athletic ability in the world, I know that there is an excellent baseball player in there. What if he just flips this thing on a dime and last night can propel him a little bit? And maybe instead of all of us bitching and moaning about Manny Machado every day, we could start talking about how great Fernando Tatis Jr. is.
Well, and Fernando, to give him some credit, right, has the lack of power all season been frustrating? Yes. But
the 2 home runs we've seen, man, have been absolute bombs.
And we need that to keep continuing. Like that, like we saw it a couple weeks ago. The one yesterday was a nuke. It was great to see him come up clutch in a big time situation. A much needed series win for the Padres. We talked about a lot their lack of success against teams in the NL that they're going to need tiebreakers with. It is nice to see at home them have a big time win on a Wednesday, especially coming off a really ugly Tuesday game where it left all of us like, how did they lose that game? And to respond the next day, I think they deserve a lot of credit. I mean, Fernando, the average is creeping up, 281, OPS almost back up to 700. So
in fact, if you look at the last 30 days, his slug is going up too. He's hitting doubles again. That home run last night helps a lot. Like, I think that we're seeing Fernando turn a bit of a corner. And if he can keep on this pace, maybe you just don't need Manny Machado to be Manny Machado anymore. You don't need him to be great. He can just be that other piece that's there.
I think 2 things can be true. I think Manny Machado is a whole different conversation where, right, the contract is so long. He's lost at the plate, and he did have the one nice hit in the first inning yesterday, but the batting average is not sufficient. But Fernando, right, at least this is not giving Manny a pass.
No, God, no.
But Manny,
I also don't think it's necessarily Manny's fault. It's whoever signed the contract with Manny.
Well,
this is a bad contract.
That's why when Merrill, Tatis, and Machado are slumping, Tatis, I think, has gotten a majority of the headlines because Tatis shouldn't be Tatis to what we were just been talking about. He's in his athletic prime. He has all the tools to be the face of one of the faces of Major League Baseball. Manny Machado at this point is not that. Manny Machado has been a big time player in Major League Baseball for a lot of years, but given his age and the recent decline in play, you expect that Coach Quintero has been on our show talking about he thinks the bat speed is slower. And it's frustrating when Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis, who are supposed to be the now of the franchise and the future, were playing so bad. It's nice to see at least one of them in Fernando Tatis starting to kind of put it together a little bit.
I would love to see him go on a tear here, get back to form a little bit. I think the mental hurdles he's jumping over one by one, and I think it started with getting the batting average back up. And look, we've talked a lot about Fernando Tatis Jr. this year, and I'm not going to feel bad for any of that. I think it was well earned at the time, but I would love to see him turn it around because I do think he is somebody who is that special, can be that special, where he could turn the whole thing around for the Padres. And we'll see if it happens. No one's rooting for Fernando harder than we are, man. I would love to see it take place here. All right, we got Dave Denholm coming up next. He's the play-by-play announcer for LAFC. He's just done a big World Cup preview on Team USA. We'll kind of rack his brain a little bit about what's going to happen over the next month or so with Team USA. We're also seeing your talkbacks come in. We want to hear from you. Dave Chappelle is going to be at Viejas Arena on June 21st, the GOAT of stand-up comedy. If you want to win tickets to that, we are asking if the NBA Finals are done in 5 or if it lives to see a Game 6. Who's winning Game 5? Spurs or Knicks? Let us know on the free iHeartRadio app. Use the talkback mic. You could win Dave Chappelle tickets. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by IHOP. Tatis, it's a walk-off home run against the Reds yesterday to close out that series against Cincinnati. They'll be back on the road for a 3-game set starting tomorrow against Baltimore. That game will be at 4:05. The Knicks complete the greatest comeback in finals history, down 29 points, come back to win 107-106. Game 5 will be on Saturday, back in San Antonio at 5:30. The Spurs currently favored by 5.5. The World Cup has just got going. Currently, Mexico is winning 1-0 in the first match. Make today a little better with IHOP in the IHOP value menu, where a full satisfying meal is just $6 any day of the week. Picture fluffy pancakes, crispy bacon, and eggs, or try the new BLT stacked high and served with fries. Big flavor, just $6 every day, $7 in some locations.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy will keep it rolling after that. He's got Coach Quintero jumping on a show today at 2:30. We got Rich on YouTube saying the worst part of the game last night was watching Taylor Swift jumping up and down the entire fourth quarter.
Don't be hating on Tay-Tay.
Taylor was actually pretty likable last night. I'll just throw that out there. You could tell she was drinking a little bit. She was having a good time. She was dancing around. She was with the lady from Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Mariska, whatever. Yeah,
that one.
If my net worth was $1 billion, I'd be getting courtside seats too.
Look, and I will say I was originally on the camp of probably not a Knicks fan. This is kind of crazy. She's doing this for whatever. But then there's pictures of her as far back as like 10 years ago showing up at Knicks games, going crazy. So good for Tay-Tay. She looked like she had a nice time last night. I love the video of her like kind of brushing away her security to go dance with Knicks fans. That was kind of good look for Taylor.
Get the Ben Fletcher stamp of approval.
This is maybe the first time I've given it to Taylor Swift in a long time. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We got Dave Denholm on the line. Dave Denholm is the play-by-play announcer for LAFC. He's done a little preview of the World Cup on his Substack, but you can follow him on social media at Talk Soccer. Dave Denholm joining us right now. Dave, what's up, man? It's been a while.
Hey, fellas. How are you? Good to be with you.
Doing fantastic. We got watch parties going on all over San Diego right now. I just saw video from the one in Chula Vista as Mexico scored their first goal in the World Cup. The place is going bonkers. We're going to be at one tomorrow for Team USA. This is an exciting time, man. Are you just pinching yourself that it's here on kind of our soil?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is huge. I remember 1994. That's really what started in loving soccer. And the World Cup came to the United States way back then. And this is going to be just as big, if not bigger, frankly. This thing is going to be massive. There's no doubt. And I'm just so for it.
Dave, what are your everyone's talking about expectations for the U.S. team. It feels like everyone's kind of assuming you have to get out of the group and maybe win a knockout game. What do you think is realistically the ceiling for this U.S. team?
Realistically, I would say the quarterfinals, because you're a host, and usually that is a big, big bonus. Certainly Mexico is going to feel that, Canada and the U.S. They should all take advantage of that. Hosting games in your country is huge for the World Cup. So I think quarterfinals, now if they go further, yeah, of course. On any given day, they've beaten every country in the world at some point, and they've lost to a whole lot of teams that they probably shouldn't lose. That's the problem with this team. The ceiling is pretty high, but the floor is also dangerous too, because they have a tendency to underperform with this group.
Dave, let's talk about the group stage. So for people that don't know, obviously they're going to play each of these teams as they get started here, and they're starting off with Paraguay. But we've heard so much over the last couple of months. In fact, I think last time we talked to you was right after we learned who Team USA would be playing against in the group stage. And you've told us, and we've read, that Team USA got a pretty favorable draw. So does that mean in the world of soccer, we're looking at Team USA sweeping the group stage? Is a draw acceptable? Is a loss acceptable for them over these next 3 games?
No, the more I've studied this group, it's not a bad draw. I think you could have certainly done worse, but it's actually a group where all 4 teams have to feel like they can get out of this group. Now, with the extended World Cup, 8 out of the 12 third-place teams get out of the group too. So it's a little bit easier now with this round of 32 added on, since it's a 48-team tournament. So you should get out of your group. But I think all 4 teams are good. Expect to get out of the group. That's got to be the goal. And certainly I think the U.S. is the best team in this group, although Turkey might have an argument there. But it's a case where these games are a little trickier maybe than some groups, because some groups still have like the 2 good teams and teams that are really just glad to be there in a lot of ways. But this group, much more balanced, I think, than at first glance. And that doesn't mean these are going to be, the United States is going to struggle or anything. I still think they're going to do very well in this. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win it, frankly.
You mentioned that it's, the World Cup has gone from 32 teams in it to 48. Do you think that'll create more opportunities for a Cinderella run? Because we've seen that in a lot of tournaments, or do you think it'll be kind of really chalky early in this tournament?
Well, only 8 teams have ever won the World Cup. So it's always very chalky at the end, right? Because you have to win these knockout games in this type of competition. I do think you might see an occasional upset in the round of 32. And even in the round of 16, you might see a team get to the quarterfinals. But I think this actually is still going to be very difficult for the teams that are not, the real favorites. The top 5 or 6 in the world are still going to do very well in this. And I think it's going to be very chalky towards the end. But the thing is, when you add these teams in, it does open up at least earlier upsets or huge stories when they happen, right? We've seen Curacao in this tournament. If they get a point in this thing, it's going to be amazing. Cape Verde, a small, nation coming out of Africa and really have earned their way in. But if they get anything out of this tournament, it's going to be amazing for them. Even Haiti, who hasn't been in the tournament in over 50 years, it's a country that, believe it or not, never played during this whole cycle in qualifying. They were not able to play on their home turf. Their manager, Haiti's manager, has never been in the country, and yet they'll qualify through all that. So if they can get anything out of that tournament, it's awesome. And that's why I actually have grown to really appreciate expanding this to 48 teams. I don't want to go any farther than that. I hope that doesn't ever happen. But I think expanding it now in the world we're in is a good thing.
Dave Denholm joining us right now at Talk Soccer on X. You can find him there at Dave_Denholm on Instagram. You can find him there. Dave, I want to get your thoughts on Team USA, but first, Mexico's playing right now against South Africa. Obviously, here in San Diego, we have a ton of Team Mexico fans. What do you think their ceiling is in this tournament?
I think it's very similar to the U.S. I think the two teams are good teams, maybe a little underrated on the world stage. But I also think Mexico is going to have maybe a little bit of a deficiency when it runs into that, that top 10.
Dave? Did we lose Dave?
We might have lost Dave.
We might have lost Dave.
Let me try getting back.
Well, I think it's something interesting that Darren Smith actually brought up yesterday that I was curious to talk to Dave about is you think about the travel that's going to be associated with this World Cup, and that is unique. Like, it's not just the expanded field, but think about where World Cups are usually played. It's usually a bus ride or a hop, skip, and a jump to get to wherever you're going. This time, there's a good chance that teams are going to be traveling cross country or cross countries to play some of these games. So I think that's something that has to be factored in here for teams internationally who are used to just making very small little European trips, who are now going to be crossing damn near a continent to play some of these games. It is going to be wild, and the impact that has. You look at the NFL, they got a week in between games. That's just not simply the case with soccer and in this World Cup. So like I said, there's actually watch parties going on around San Diego today for Team Mexico's game. They are up 1-0 on South Africa. It was a big goal early for Team Mexico. It's pretty cool. We have some of our stations out at one down in Chula Vista. The place is going bonkers. Tomorrow, Sammy and I are going to be out along with Schaefer and Sliwa in Little Italy at the Piazza della Familia, taking in some World Cup action. We want you to come out there with us. So if you want to get on down to Little Italy tomorrow, on your lunch break or after lunch, there's going to be a huge watch party put on by SDFC for the actual game itself for Team USA and the Canada game earlier in the day, which is while Sammy and I will be there. But if you want to swing on by, there's nowhere better to be in San Diego tomorrow than right there as we get started with this World Cup.
He said, sorry, his phone was cutting out at the end, but I was going to get, Dave has looked at every group. So I was curious if he had any underdog long shot bets.
Oh, yeah, I did want to plug his Substack. So if you want to go check it out, check out his social media at Talk Soccer, and you'll be able to find his Substack where he has ranked every group stage in the entire World Cup tournament. You could do some reading there for a deep dive.
I am, because the fact of the tournament expanding is interesting, and it's funny we compare it to like American sports.
Sure,
college football expanding, college basketball is expanding. It feels like everyone's trying to get more teams in, and theoretically that's great. I agree with what Dave said. Is that 48's great, but also expanding further than that. Like, we don't want it to be where just every team qualifies for every tournament. Like, I know Italy's the big one missing right now. They were kind of had a shocking not able to qualify, but this tournament is going to be interesting. And to what he said about the teams on home soil certainly have benefited over the years. We've seen that with the crowds going nuts, and now usually the World Cup is in a spot or a country where soccer is the main sport.
Right.
So I think the fans are going to be going crazy out here. There's obviously a ton of soccer fans in the U.S., Mexico. It's the most popular sport. So there's been some concern about that, whether it would be the same kind of crowds. But I think certainly going to benefit the U.S. being at home. They got a nice draw on that they're playing in L.A. and Seattle. So weather is not going to be a big part of this. Like, I know they're talking about with England, they're not used to the heat and they're playing in Miami and it's been like a real thing. They're not used to that kind of humidity, how hot it is down there right now. So
did you see the Swiss coach complaining about their training facility having rattlesnakes nearby?
No, where are they?
Yeah.
Where are they training?
I think down here. They're North County, San Diego, because they played that first game at Snapdragon Stadium. Remember the friendly? And so they were doing some training up in North County, San Diego, and I guess the school they were at had some mountains and hills behind it that have signs of like rattlesnake warnings, which is all over the place in San Diego. Go to a golf course here that doesn't have some area that has a big sign in it that says, "Don't go in here for lost balls because there's rattlesnakes." And the Swiss coach made a whole big deal about it. He's like, "We're gonna die."
It is funny seeing all the people coming to the States, like trying food for the first time. That's been like a big deal, like that
In and out.
And then I saw Lamine Yamal, who's the prodigy for Spain, who's like the next star. He's like shopping in Walmart in Georgia, like, and then he's not a household name over here. So overseas, he could never just go to a grocery store. And he's just like pushing a cart in Walmart, which is pretty funny to see one of the biggest soccer players in the world just shopping in a Walmart in Georgia.
Give Dave Denholm a follow at Talk Soccer. It sounds like he needs to get a new phone, so maybe more followers will help him out. But always a pleasure having Dave on. All right, Long Shots is coming up next. We also have some great talkbacks in here we want to get to playing for you. We will do that on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
Coming up immediately after Long Shots, we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to go see Parker McCollum on June 18th at Viejas Arena. For tickets and info, you can visit Ticketmaster.com. If you would like to win them, keep listening for about 6 minutes. We will be giving them away right here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. We got Long Shots coming up in a second. Hey, in hour number 2, we're going to check in with a couple of people. So we got Steve Hartman to react to last night's NBA action between the Knicks and the Spurs. One of the craziest games in recent memory of an NBA Finals. Like potentially all the way back to some of those games between Steph and Clay against LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. Like those were some wild games. Last night was up there. Or even the Paul Pierce Celtics against Kobe. Like that game last night was up there. It was that wild.
I'm curious what the ratings are because it was 23 million, the highest rated game 3 since
which is massive.
1998, which was MJ's last title. So that shows you what happens when the Knicks, and I think Wemby and the Spurs are an interesting team.
I think this NBA Finals has done a better job of capturing America than anyone in recent memory.
And it's a finals that heading into the series, now the Knicks have dominated in a sense, but even all the games have been good, even though they're up 3-1, all the games have been good. And I think even though the Spurs were favored coming into the series, like I picked the Knicks in 7 for the series. You could pick the Knicks and you weren't like, that's crazy. It's going to take a wild.
Damn, I think I said Spurs in 6. I'm cooked. I'm toast. It's already
I'll give
done.
you Spurs in 7.
I don't want it. I like the Knicks pick better. Yesterday, though, I did say Knicks in 5. Does that help anything?
Well, that's your second chance bets.
Right. All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. Let's get to Long Shots. Parker McCollum tickets right after Long Shots. Don't go anywhere. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Say that man his man.
with Long Shots.
All right, Sammy, where are we going today? Tell me we got some World Cup picks.
You know we got some.
You going Ghana?
We got Chechnya
There we go.
and South Korea.
I love it. I love it. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
All right, minus 110. Now this is a good game tonight. Now people, again, unless you're a diehard World Cup fan, you're probably not tapped into the South Korea and Chechnya teams.
Oh, I'm ready for Sammy to pronounce some names.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little scared to pronounce some names. But the South Korea midfield is very good. Son is a very talented player. Chechnya has given up some goals as of recently. My favorite bet tonight, both teams to score, minus 110. Chechnya's backline has been susceptible lately. They've given up goals, I believe, in 5 of their last 7 international competitions. And South Korea has some very talented goal scorers. This game is pretty even. I believe Chechnya is plus 195 on the money line. South Korea is plus 175, and the draw is plus 215. So with both of these teams that feel like they have aspirations to win their group, they're not going to be so aggressive offensively when they do get a goal. So I can see this being 1-1. 2-2, something like that. But the backlines for both of these teams have been susceptible. There's a reason why they put it as the night game of the first night of the World Cup. They're expecting some scoring. Minus 110, South Korea, Chechnya, both to score. How about that?
I love it.
It's Galazzo pick.
Great work, Sammy. What's next?
All right. Stanley Cup. Vegas and Carolina. Now, Carter Hart, the goaltender for the Vegas Golden Knights, very odd. Now, he is one of the first goal. He's given up a lot of goals in this series. 4 goals in game 2, 4 goals in game 3, 5 goals in game 4. He has been the first goaltender, I believe, in Stanley Cup final history to give up 4 goals in each of the first 4 games. This is so weird too because Carter Hart is basically what has gotten them there. John Tortorella, when he came over for Bruce Cassidy a couple months ago as the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. Look, this game's going to come down to a couple things. Ehlers is one of the top goal scorers for Carolina. Jordan Stahl, who's age 37, a veteran in the NHL, had 2 goals in his last outing. Frederik Andersen got pulled in that game. He had been one of the best goalies all season long for this Carolina team. They actually made him the emergency goalie the other night. He wasn't even the backup goalie. He was the emergency goalie. Vegas is plus 130 on the money line. Give me Vegas. I think Vegas goes on the road, gets a win tonight. Look, in that game 4, it got away from them. Carolina came out. They're too talented of a team to go down 3-1. They came out, got a big lead. Stahl had a huge night with 2 goals. Jack Eichel, that's going to be the big time matchup. Jordan Stahl, Jack Eichel. I think Jack Eichel has had a rough series so far. Responds. Mitch Marner on the road. They have the goal scorers to do it. Dorothea for the Golden Knights. Vegas, this series has been very tight. Overall, Vegas has been the better team. I think they lost that game out of desperation in Game 4 because Carolina needed it so bad. Kind of like Game 3 with the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. San Antonio trying to stay alive. I like Vegas on the road tonight. I think Tortorella and company get it done.
I love it. Great pick.
All right, let's head to Major League Baseball. We're going back to the Dodgers and Pirates series. Okay, we went Dodgers the other day on the money line.
Dodgers blowing that lead last night.
Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, 3 earned runs. Dodgers up 6-1 in that game too, and blew it. Now in the final of this series, I'm surprised. So the over/under open at 8.5. Now, Mitch Keller on the mound for the Pirates, very good pitcher. Doesn't get the headlines because of Paul Skeens and Bubba Chandler, but very good pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Justin Robleski is going for the Dodgers, the tricky left-hander, who his last couple outings hadn't been as good. He started off the season 5-0, but the line has actually moved from 8.5 to 9.5. Give me the under. I think this is a kind of a pitching matchup, pitching duel tonight. Robleski's a very tricky left-hander that a lot of teams have not been able to figure out, and we know the Pirates bats. Look, they got after the Dodgers bullpen last night. I know they got 3 earned runs against Shohei Ohtani, but that's really where this Pirates team does work. I expect the Dodgers bullpen to respond, and the Dodgers hitting has been a little inconsistent. I do think Mitch Keller at least gets them through 5-6 innings, keeping the score down. 9.5 is a big number for me. We're going under 9.5. All right, so South Korea and Chechnya, both teams to score -110. I think South Korea's midfield gets it done. Chechnya's backline has been a little susceptible. They're both going to score tonight. I like Vegas on the money line +130 on the road in Carolina in the Stanley Cup. And I like Robleski and Mitch Keller, a little bit of a pitching duel tonight out in Pittsburgh, under 9.5 in Dodgers Pirates.
Love it. I think that's good long shots. I think we're cashing on that. Should we get crazy and put Korea to win straight up also?
Why do you want Korea to win straight up?
I don't know. I just think they're going to. Got a gut instinct. I already did it, so that's what's happening.
You hit Korea on the money line?
I did. It made the payout much better.
Shout out to South Korea.
Let's go.
Why are you against the Chechens?
I don't know. I have a feeling. You ever follow your gut? It's the Bruce Bochy method.
Tomorrow we got a lot to pick for because we got a World Cup weekend. We got the UFC. There's a lot. NBA Finals, of course, Stanley Cup. We're gonna have a massive long shots tomorrow night.
All right, you ready for this, Sammy? Are you ready for what I'm about to say?
What are you about to say?
5 minutes. For 5 minutes, we are opening up the talkback mic starting right this second. Any talkback that comes in within the next 5 minutes is going to potentially win a pair of tickets to go see Parker McCollum out at Viejas Arena on June 18th. So there's 5 minutes. So between now, which is 12:57 and 1:02, any talkback that comes in qualifies. We'll pick a random one. You're going to see Parker McCollum out at Viejas Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com if you'd like to buy tickets. Hour number 2 is coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Sports sponsored by rockauto.com. Padres, Tatis hits a walk-off yesterday against the Cincinnati Reds. They'll be back tomorrow taking on the Baltimore Orioles for a 3-game set in Baltimore. That game will be at 4:05. Knicks completed an all-time comeback last night. Come back down 29. Game 5 will be Saturday night, taking on the Spurs again in San Antonio. Spurs are 5.5-point favorites. And in the NHL, Golden Knights Hurricanes, game 5 tonight at 5:00. Vegas looking to pull the upset on the road at plus 130. A bent tie rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For the parts needed to get back on the road, visit rockauto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliably low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00. Usually I'm a big fan of Sammy's music choices. What the hell is this?
So I was a little late getting a song in the log.
So you just picked a random one?
No, it's 4 Bats and Drake. Drake kicks in right here.
Okay.
Hold on. All right, we're a little behind.
All right, it's very good. You can just kill the music now. We don't need that. It is San Diego Sports 760.
Don't be distant. It's a good song. It's Act 2, Day to Day.
Sure. I'm sure it's fantastic. Steve Hartman's going to be joining us coming up at 1:30.
He knows about dates at 8.
Laura Kane is actually out at Fit Social right now. There's a huge SDFC watch party going down for the World Cup right now for Team Mexico, who's up 1-0 on South Africa. So we'll talk to Laura Kane about what's going down in Mission Beach as we're all getting ready for the World Cup for Team USA action starting tomorrow. Excited to invite Laura Kane on the show. That'll be around 1:15, 1:16, somewhere in there. Those Dave Chappelle tickets are still up for grabs. We got our Parker McCollum winner. We will email you shortly. But Dave Chappelle tickets, he's coming to VA Hus Arena on June 21st. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. If you want to win some tickets, you leave us the talk back. Tell us whether or not the Knicks will wrap this thing up in game 5 tomorrow night on the road in San Antonio, or if this series will extend to come back to Madison Square Garden one more time. Something we did not talk about in hour number 1, but is definitely a part of the context of last night's game and really this whole series, is why the hell are we throwing an exit Victor Wembanyama? Like, I get it. New York is kind of free for all right now after all these games, and people are losing their minds, throwing bricks through cars and rioting a little bit. I do not think you are a real basketball fan if you're doing any of this behavior. I'm just going to throw that out there because it is a little disgusting seeing how much fun the games are and how people are losing their minds. And I don't care about Celebrity Row. Really, it's fun watching Ben Stiller take videos for his own private Instagram. That's cool. It's fun seeing Taylor Swift losing her mind, Timothée Chalamet going bonkers. Like, I do think all that stuff is fun. And then we get to like the news part of everything, which is after every game, things just keep getting worse and worse in New York. Like, can we just celebrate? Like, it's fun, man. I think the majority of the country right now is rooting for the Knicks, and there's a lot of people giving a really bad look to the city and to the team.
And it sucks because that's not, like, I hate overgeneralizing. 99.9% of Knicks fans would never do this.
I agree.
And it's also, I think people get confused. They see Knicks fans and they're like, oh, you know, people use championship parades to riot and to do things like that.
And I saw a great take yesterday where someone was like, I've been a Knicks fan my entire life. I only surround myself with Knicks people, and none of them are the ones doing any of this.
Right.
These are people who are using this as an excuse to get out there and cause some chaos.
I am kind of surprised that they would be staying in the city. Like, I heard them talking about how the hotel is not that far from MSG, and I get they're going to practice and everything, walkthroughs, but I'm surprised they stayed in New York last night. I mean, you think with it going back to San Antonio, why wouldn't you just hopped on a red eye? They're obviously taking a private plane. They're not cattle calling on Southwest to get back to San Antonio. I'm surprised they were staying there, but obviously you don't want to see stuff like that. That sucks.
What I will say, whoever threw the egg, kind of a great throw. Kind of a great throw. That was like what, 20-yard pass that he threw? Nailed him directly in the dome.
The Jets might need to call him.
Seriously, because that was a hell of a throw. He led the receiver perfectly. It hit the target exactly on time. It had the right arc on it. It made a splat.
Like, I feel bad for Victor Wembanyama. That's degrading. That's kind of sick and disgusting, but it was a hell of a throw. We can give credit where we see credit needs to be due. But can we stop acting like idiots, please? Can we just enjoy this? Because right now it's pretty damn fun watching the Knicks. Like, I'm becoming a Knicks fan somehow. Jalen Brunson has turned me around, and then all of a sudden I
thought you were becoming a Spurs fan.
I was. I'm fluid when it comes to my NBA loyalty. I don't really have a team.
If you come in here after Game 5 and the Knicks win with a Jalen Brunson jersey on Monday,
watch me. I am open for market. Like, I was a Kobe fan. I loved Kobe. Man, I got down the rabbit hole after our show yesterday, Sammy, because I was so ticked off at the LeBron James comment.
I did we got some fiery talkbacks. I did it on my show yesterday.
I swear, I went like 6 hours yesterday looking up stuff. I sent you some quotes from Kobe and everything. Right. Like, I loved Kobe Bryant. I couldn't stand the Lakers.
Favorite athlete of all time.
Make sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Jalen Brunson, I'm a huge fan of him. And OG Anunoby, after last night, I love the way how casual he is about everything. Like, his entire team is losing his mind after the tip in, and he's just kind of walking around like, yeah, so what? I did it. I tipped it in. Cool. I really like the way the Knicks are moving right now.
I wonder how, again, the mindset, because the thinking is that, and we've seen this a lot, you lose like that, heartbreaker, if you're the Spurs.
Spurs are cooked.
Well, that's one way to think about it.
How do you come back from that? Like, De'Aaron Fox, this is very well, that game could have broken De'Aaron Fox for good.
And I think it also doesn't play well that they're young. Had they been a veteran team, maybe they go back and go, look, we did go 1-1 on the road in New York. We put ourselves in a terrible spot because we lost both at home. This Game 5, we're going to know very quickly where the Spurs are going to be at least a live dog in the series, or if it's over. Because if they come out and the Knicks get a lead, I think it's done. The Spurs, you lose a 29-point lead. You had it. It's an all-time playoff low. Embarrassing. I mean, they showed it inside the NBA. They were throwing up the Falcons logo over the Spurs. I mean, brutal choke job.
That's the only thing I can compare to it is the 28-3 Falcons game.
So, okay, yeah. What do you think is the worst blown lead you've ever watched?
That.
The Falcons?
The Falcons is number one all time. Jordan Spieth at the Masters is pretty brutal. I think he had a 7-stroke lead on Sunday at the Masters and he blew it. That was 2012, maybe even before that. But yeah, it's like when you go all time blown leads in a huge championship scenario, I'm sure there's some soccer ones out there that you can get me with, but it's like last night is right behind Falcons Patriots. Falcons Patriots is still number one. Last night's right there.
I'm trying to think what. I mean, the Lakers coming back with the Kobe and Shaq,
sure,
down 15 the fourth was crazy, but that wasn't the NBA Finals.
This feels a little different.
Yes.
This was an all-timer, dude. All right, let's get to the big three. We skipped over it in hour number one. I'll never stop apologizing for that because the big three is like my favorite part of the entire show. But the 913 did ask about the dad games. Dad games are coming back.
I saw that.
Next Thursday, we're going to be doing the dad games over on KGB. So you got to listen in the mornings over on 101.5 KGB. We're qualifying 2 people every single day. We have some badass Padres tickets that we're going to be giving away to the winner. There's a bunch of concert tickets as well. So it's next Thursday as we get ready for Father's Day. If you want to compete, you just got to listen to the morning show over on KGB. We'll have 2 more qualifiers coming up tomorrow morning. With just me and TD. It's going to be a TD and Fletch show tomorrow morning.
Hey!
Which is going to get a little wacky. I promise you that on a Bar Car Friday especially. Sammy, let's get to the big three. Go ahead, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, Sammy, where are we heading?
Sean Payton, head coach of the Denver Broncos, gets a new 5-year contract for the team. Where would Sean Payton stack in a hierarchy of coaches for you in today's league? He has won a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. I'm judging by that response. You're not the biggest Sean Payton fan.
Look, I do like Sean Payton. I would say his time with the Saints, it was incredibly impressive what he did, taking Drew Brees and literally designing an offense from scratch around the quarterback that he had, not necessarily the quarterback that he wanted. And that was incredible. And I think he and Drew Brees grew together. Now, there are parts of Sean Payton's career as a head coach that you simply just can't overlook. And what's the fun name with it? Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, Bountygate.
Oh, Bountygate, where they're paying players to take guys out.
Is part of his career, man. And I'm sure he's not the only coach that's had that. And of course, he's going to deny it at every step of the way. But isn't it funny that that's just a speed bump that we all kind of gloss over? Sean Payton, in terms of rankings, like he is far behind Belichick, far behind Reed. far behind Bill Walsh, far behind who else has won a bunch of Super Bowls?
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay,
One.
sure. They're probably on even ground right now, but Sean McVay has like 10 more years to grow. I don't know. Is Sean Payton going to be one of these guys that gets into his 70s and is still coaching? Like he already quit once and then he comes back a year later because he just was sick of the Saints job. I don't have the most respect for Sean Payton, if I'm being honest.
Look, he's a great coach. I've been very open. I despise the Denver Broncos. Absolutely despise.
Right, but you can take him as a Saints coach also.
Right. No, but I'm giving him credit because with the Broncos, I was a massive skeptic of Bo Nix. I was a skeptic of that team. And to their credit, they were very impressive last year. They beat the Chiefs twice. Now, the Chiefs weren't playing any of their guys in one of those games, but they took up the AFC West, went to the AFC Championship game, and had Bo Nix not gotten hurt against the Bills, they're probably in the Super Bowl. So Sean Payton deserves a lot of credit. He is in that, like, you wonder who breaks through next. Sean Payton, 1 ring. Sean McVay, 1 ring. Harbaugh's never won a ring, but he's been there and he's won one in college. Like, there's a lot of guys in the league today. You obviously have your Belichicks, your Reeds, your guys that have won multiple Super Bowls. They're on a little bit different echelon. Mike McDonald now with 1 ring. There's a bunch of coaches that have won 1 ring in the league today. You feel like his tenure with the Saints is a little disappointing because with Drew Brees, there were some playoff collapses, like that Vikings game where Kirk Cousins and them went into New Orleans and beat them. But Sean Payton's a great head coach. He's got Denver turned around. I am curious, though, how he does this year because of how many one-score games they won last year, if they have a little bit of regression, but we'll see. Let's head to baseball. Now, this is kind of Aroldis Chapman, one of the great closers in the game for many years, playing for the Red Sox, says the Yankees general manager owes him an apology if the Yankees want to bring him back. Now, I don't see the Red Sox trading Aroldis Chapman to the Yankees. That would be like the Padres, trading some star like Mason Miller to the Dodgers.
Right.
But so Chapman, this goes back to 2022 with Brian Cashman. He had an infection, leg infection resulting from a tattoo, lost the closer job to Clay Holmes, and then Chapman was left off the playoff roster for missing a mandatory team practice at Yankee Stadium before the AL Division Series. Are you Team Cashman or Team Chapman?
Well, what's the apology necessary for? It sounds like Wally Pip is a thing because it happens, right? You get Wally Pipped, meaning you're injured or you take time off and somebody performs better than you. I remember this very clearly, actually. And I remember Chapman being pissed in the media because he was left off the playoff roster. And then we pulled up the numbers. I think I was working with Costa and Judson at the time. And Judson was like, look at the numbers. Clay Holmes has just simply been better than Chapman was that year. And Chapman at that point was on a bit of a downward trend in his career. He has since revitalized it. He has since been back to being a dominant piece for any team in Major League Baseball. But yeah, I don't think that there's any apology necessary because A, you got outplayed and your spot got taken. And B, if you did miss a team meeting or whatever the excuse that Cashman used, it sounds like you should be apologizing the other way, shouldn't you?
I think it's a moot point because, again, I don't think the Red Sox are trading him to the Yankees. But it is funny. Now, Brian Cashman's been there for a long time, and the Yankees are a team that you talk about as underachieved. What was their last World Series? 2009?
That's a great point.
2008? I'm blanking on the year with that. Somewhere in there. There's been a lot. I mean, they've had Juan Carlos Stanton and Juan Soto for a cup of coffee and Aaron Judge all these years, and you feel like they haven't been able to break through.
Yeah, it was 2009. They beat the Phillies.
Okay, 2009. You got Cam Schlittler this year. You got Garrett Cole coming back, Max Fried. You need a back-end star closer. You have David Bednar right now, who is the closer, but they've dealt with some guys over the years, Luke Weaver. The Yankees are an interesting spot because despite the Aaron Judge injury, the AL is so bad compared to the NL in that the NL would dominate the AL if a lot of these wildcard teams were thrown in the AL side, that they're probably going to go all in because you feel like they have a path to the World Series. But the Yankees certainly will be one to watch if they were able to acquire Chapman.
All right, we're going to check in with Laura Kane on the other side. She's at a watch party for the World Cup right now at Fit Social down in Mission Beach. We'll check in with her, see what's going on. Then we got Steve Hartman at 1:30. Dave Chappelle tickets still up for grabs. He's going to be at VA House Arena on June 21st. Tickets are on sale at livenation.com. Let us know on the talkback mic if Spurs Knicks goes to a game 6 or not. Do the Knicks close it out in 5? The talkback mic is open currently. Get those talkbacks in. You automatically qualify to win a pair of tickets to go see Dave Chappelle.
It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Can we get a round of applause for all the teachers? I think all of San Diego officially on summer break as of right now. Lakeside was the last one to go on summer break. So my wife just finished up about an hour ago. Summer break is here, teachers. Congratulations on another year. I know it's tough. You guys
shout out to the kids too, man. It's the best day of the year when you get off.
Yeah, the only people who aren't stoked today, the parents, because now they have to go back to taking care of their kids on a daily basis.
Guess what? You made them, so now you got to deal with them.
That's a great point. All right, we got Laura Kane. She's out in Mission Beach at Fit Social SDFC watch party for Team Mexico going up against South Africa. Laura Kane, welcome back to the show. It's great to hear your voice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to set the scene first, and then I'm going to tell you the vibe.
Let it rip.
Currently, okay, I am sitting on the ground behind a stroller next to a cabana, hiding because the men in black and yellow, those are the security people, keep threatening me because I keep walking around talking to people.
Good.
This place is off the charts. It is packed. And all I see is a sea of green, red, and white. The colors representing Mexico. I see one dude in a Brazil shirt, and he's looking a little out of place, but we were not going to give him any grief for that. It is electric. It is exciting. Every boo, every cheer, there's people break out into song. This is a very huge part of this culture, and they are eating it up at every opportunity. There's a huge screen that I'm staring at, and right next to the screen, I can see the ocean. So it's pretty darn cool. And people are just incredibly excited. This is the first of the games. This particular party is going to go on for all 39 of the games. And so come on out. You can RSVP. You can just go to sandiegofc.com for all the event information and stuff like that. But there's also general admission, which is free. But that was blocked off by the time I got here.
Laura Kane.
I love it. I'm a new soccer fan. This is more exciting, I think, than any sport that's out there right now.
Laura Kane,
Hands
News Radio
down.
600 Kogo, one of our best friends in the building here. We get to talk to Laura every day. Can you believe it? How jealous are you, everyone out there, that we get to talk to Laura on a daily basis? But Laura, I don't think we could have sent anyone better than you out to this because of like your ballsiness to go up and talk to people, even though security's hunting you down. So do you have any tricks up your sleeve of avoiding security that you can let me and Sammy know about?
Well, okay. There's a guy, he's literally in front of me, but what I have done is I'm hiding behind this wooden box next to the cabana where the fancy people sit. So he kind of isn't really monitoring this particular area. I'm on the ground, sitting on my butt, on the ground, looking at shoes right now, hiding. So you just have to hide. You have to know where to go. You have to know where to sit in order to do a good report and get the best vantage point.
Laura, is this
something bad just happened? There's a lot of booze, guys. A lot of booze.
Laura, is there this is happening for every match of the World Cup or just the weekends? Can you fill us in on when people can maybe go get down there?
You can, for every game there is. This weekend is especially exciting because it's the opening weekend, and you can come tomorrow. There's 4 games. Sunday, there's 4 games. It's a summer-long celebration, though. 39-day run right here at the Belmont Park, right next to the coaster. Right, Mission Beach. I mean, you'll be able to see. It took me forever to get here because of the traffic, but it's worth it. And just because we can't have World Cup soccer right in San Diego doesn't mean we can't celebrate it in the biggest way possible. Right?
Yeah, we got watch parties all over town, and SDFC is doing a lot of them. Sammy and I are crashing one tomorrow. We're going and broadcasting live in Little Italy at the Piazza della Famiglia, and SDFC is going to
be
have
off the charts.
Huge presence there as well. Laura, thank you so much. Keep braving security. If you have to get physical with them, do it. You know, remember that right hand jab that Sammy taught you. You're really good at it. So
if
go
I
ahead
have to
and
use it, I will.
take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of the game, Laura. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Laura Kane, News Radio 600 Go, filling us in on what's going down at Fit Social out in Mission Beach. Like she said, you can go register, sandiegofc.com. They got watch parties popping up all over the city. Go check them out. We'll be at one tomorrow, Little Italy, the Piazza della Familia. We're going to be down there from noon to 6 tomorrow. I think I'm hanging out the whole time. Sam, are you hanging out the whole time?
Yeah, I think we got some. It's gonna be good.
It's going to be awesome. Team USA playing at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Our coverage will begin here on San Diego Sports 760 at 5:30.
There's rumors Steve Hartman might be coming to the Piazza.
What? Steve, he loves Italian food. I think that's how we can get him down there. All right, Steve Hartman is going to be joining us next. First, Dave Chappelle tickets. We have 1 million talkbacks in. You still have about 20 minutes to get yours in if you want to qualify to win a pair of tickets to go see Dave Chappelle at the A-House Arena on June 21st. Just tell us, is the series over in 5 between the Knicks and the Spurs, or does a Game 6 happen? Let us know on the talkback mic on the free iHeartRadio app. You could win Dave Chappelle tickets. Steve Hartman next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. It's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel. I got 2 things to tell you about right now. Thirsty Thursday happening tonight, today at Valley View Casino Hotel. $5 beers, $6 hand-selected wines, $7 refreshing cocktails at any of Valley View Casino and Hotel's restaurants and bars, or while you're playing your favorite slots and table games. And then tomorrow, it's Dave's $250,000 weekend windfall. That's right. 10 guests are going to be able to walk away with an opportunity at winning $25,000. 25 bones, baby. 10 guests could be walking away with $25K each, plus more plays going to be awarded throughout the night tomorrow night. Get on out there, 5 to 10 tomorrow for your chance at Dave's $250,000 weekend windfall. ValleyViewCasino.com has all the info. While you're there, make sure you sign up for that Players Club card. As soon as you sign up, you're going to get $200 in free offers to use instantly at Valley View Casino and Hotel. And the more you use that Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn. Get on out to the Valley View Casino and Hotel today for Thirsty Thursday, tomorrow for Dave's $250,000 weekend windfall. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants.
The sports sponsored by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Tatis hits a walk-off yesterday, home run against the Cincinnati Reds. Off day today, be back tomorrow night, taking on the Baltimore Orioles on the road at 4:05. Currently in the World Cup, Mexico is up 1-0 in the first match of the day. South Korea and Chechnya will be going later tonight. And in the NBA Finals, Knicks complete the all-time comeback, down 29 to come back and beat the Spurs. Game 5, they'll be looking for the closeout on Saturday night, 5:30 in San Antonio. Be the 3C's MVP this month at Valley View Casino and Hotel. On June 26th, one lucky winner will score cash, and more cash, or a spin for $100,000 during the 3C's giveaway, only in San Diego's favorite casino.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy's going to keep the party rolling after that. Schaefer and Sliwa will be your drive home later this afternoon. Steve Hartman is here. Now, if anyone can put last night into context, it would be Mr. Steve Hartman, who has seen, I'm pretty sure, every NBA Finals game in recorded history. But Steve, last night, maybe one of the most epic collapses in sports history, right up there with the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. What were the thoughts going through your head last night?
Well, first of all, before we even get to a breakdown of last night's game, I want to say something. The fact that I'm on today is because of tomorrow's USA versus, it's not Paraguay, it's Paraguay. It's not like Ben Fletcher, it's Ben Fletcher.
Wait.
So if you're going to say the opponent for the USA, they're not playing Paraguay, it's Paraguay. I hear people saying Paraguay. It drives me nuts.
Who said it wrong?
Let me get that up. Nobody on your station. I've just been hearing other people promoting USA, Paraguay. I'm like, it's not Paraguay, it's Paraguay. All right. Let's talk about, first of all, my appearance with you last Friday.
Sure.
Before game 2. When Sammy was insisting that the Spurs were a very safe bet at -6.5. And I warned you, did I not warn you about that game too? Now, what's interesting, though, is that I said if the Knicks win game 2, they would sweep the series. But after game 2, I changed my tune on my national show saying, you know what? I have the sneaking suspicion, as bad as things have been for the Knicks over the years, they're about to get worse. I suddenly flipped and said, Spurs will come back. They win game 3. Obviously, they were in a position to win game 4. So the number one reason that the Spurs had the greatest collapse, and everyone was like, greatest comeback, greatest collapse in NBA Finals history, was coaching. They have arguably the worst coach in the NBA. He is arguably the worst coach in the NBA. And it was for everyone to see, because guys, forget the 29-point lead. They were up 95-75 in the fourth quarter. Now, when you have a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter, in a hostile situation in Madison Square Garden, what would you say the best plan would be? How about running the clock down as far as you can? If you're going to take a 3, it's only because the 24th second is expiring. That's not what we saw. We saw a bunch of young guys, undisciplined, just firing up 3-point bricks all over the place, allowing the Knicks to get back in the game. So what we saw last night, yes, whether you call it the greatest comeback, greatest collapse, I call it the greatest collapse. The number one reason that the Knicks won that game was the absolute worst coaching half in NBA Finals history.
Steve, if the Spurs do go out here, which looking like they're going to, is this, do you think, a situation where they're going to have a lot more bites at the apple for the next few years? They're constantly getting the NBA Finals, or do you think the West is so loaded that it's going to be a little bit wild before they get back?
Well, first of all, what we were guaranteed, regardless of 8 different winners in the last 8 years, for an NBA championship. So why would I think anything is going to change? You know, I really thought that OKC was a different story. I thought OKC looked to me, because they were a young team, young nucleus, that they were in a position to dominate the rest of this decade. And what happened? They you know what in their pants in Game 7 against San Antonio. So I don't think San Antonio is any different. They lack discipline. And by the way, the other thing they lack is durability with their biggest star. Think about this with Wemby. As a rookie, they were so cautious with his minutes. He never played 30 minutes in a single game that year. And then last year, he missed half the season with injury. So now all of a sudden, he's in a position, obviously we're in the NBA Finals, where they need him on the court 35 to 38 minutes. He was gassed in the second half. Remember that one errant throw by Fox where he threw it over the middle and it was like to nobody and the Knicks went in and scored? And then you look back and it was like, oh, wait a second. That pass was to Wemby, except he didn't move because he couldn't move. And then he bricked the 2 free throws at the end. So conditioning is a big problem with Wemby right now. He wasn't ready for a full run all the way to the NBA Finals. He ran out of gas. In fact, that whole team emotionally ran out of gas because they were so poorly coached. So I don't think that San Antonio, well, they're the youngest team since the Trailblazers in 77 make the NBA Finals. I don't think that even matters. I would say if I were betting the house, I would say I am betting that a 9th different team will emerge as NBA champions next season.
Steve Hartman joining us, San Diego Sports 760. Steve, you look at the Knicks last night, and I'm with you. I think that was a brutal collapse by the Spurs, and I blame the majority on Mitch Johnson, the head coach. But you look at what the Knicks did last night, and I see a lot of credit going towards Jalen Brunson. I personally didn't think he played that great last night. Ton of credit going to OG Anunoby. Well-deserved. The tip-in was miraculous. He had 33 points on the night. The dude played his ass off. He had the block on De'Aaron Fox. Not a lot of people talking about Karl Anthony Towns. And I thought Karl Anthony Towns probably played one of his better games as a pro yesterday. And it was the little things. It was the shot in the corner when they needed momentum. It was tipping the ball on the final play of the game. Karl Anthony Towns, after years of kind of just making fun of him, doesn't it feel like he's earned a little bit of an apology here over this series?
Well, Fletch, he was the MVP of the first 2 games.
Sure.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, obviously Brunson couldn't make a shot in the first 2 games. This is always interesting. Remember a couple of years ago, Jason Tatum's the star, but the Jaylen Brown got finals MVP deservedly for the Celtics a couple of years ago. It's going to be tough. Anunoby, in these 2 games at Madison Square, he shot 67% over the last couple of games. What do you have, 61 points? So the first 2 games, the MVP really was, for the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns. And to be honest with you, the last 2 games, OG Anunoby was the MVP of the Knicks over the last 2 games. Now, that's not to say I don't love Brunson, because I do. I love his moxie. He is a leader on the court. I love everything about Jalen Brunson. I love the fact that when people asked him after the game, he was quick to point out, we haven't won anything yet. We haven't done anything yet. There's no celebration. We haven't done anything yet. I love that about him. But yeah, I mean, look, this is a veteran Knicks team that they've imported players from all these different teams. None of these are homegrown guys. They brought everybody together, and they have benefited in this series from a lack of experience and some really bad coaching by Mitch Johnson. So the Knicks are taking advantage. Are they ultimately going to win this series? They should, but it's still the Knicks, guys. I'll tell you this. If San Antonio can somehow clear their heads and win Saturday and force it back to Madison Square Garden, you talk about pressure on a team. It's going to be immense. The Knicks have got to get into their minds that we've got a team down. We got a team hurt. We need to end this Game 5 in San Antonio, because if it comes back to Madison Square Garden, everyone, there's coronation time. Don't be so surprised if we see a repeat of what we just saw in Game 4 with a very different ending.
Steve, text line knows about you're not a big World Cup guy, but text line wants to know, Jay Sills texting in, who is going to win the World Cup according to Steve Hartman?
It is going to be Spain. Spain to me is a runaway favorite in this year's World Cup. If there could be a surprise country to come away, look for a revitalization of Argentina. Argentina is is a country I think could sneak in as far as the World Cup is concerned. But if I had to place my money, which I would never do on an event like the World Cup, but if I were to bet on the World Cup, my money is on Spain.
Wait, you're not a gambler, Steve?
Its first World Cup, yes.
Steve, you don't gamble?
I am not a gambler. You know this, guys. I've told you many times. I don't gamble on anything because I've heard my own predictions for so many years. Fletch, you know firsthand, my locks are legendary. Like, people beg me to lock. You want me to beg to lock right now? I'm going to put a lock. I'm going to put a lock right now. Okay? I'm going to lock the San Antonio Spurs to win Game 5.
Awesome.
On Saturday.
Series is over,
Now,
so we can all pack it up and go home. Time to put some money on the Knicks.
The bank and betting the bank on the Knicks to close this out, but I'm going to lock the Spurs, who are favored, I'm sure, at home in Game 5. What's the line, Sammy? What's the line on Game 5?
5.5.
What do we got?
5.5.
5.5. They will win. They will cover. Put all your money on the Spurs in Game 5. That is a lock.
I love it. Steve, I believe the year was 2021. I don't think I've ever seen anyone work worse on primetime NFL games when we were doing our picks that year. It was kind of amazing, actually, what you were doing that year in the NFL.
Yeah.
Steve, we love you, pal.
When you think that every game is a 50-50 coin flip, to be on the wrong end of a 50-50 coin flip like 10 weeks in a row, that's saying something.
It was kind of amazing. Steve, we love you. Thank you so much for moving our schedule around, jumping on today. We will talk to you next week. As always, Steve Hartman, if you've grown up in Southern California, listen to the radio. This is one of the most influential voices of your life. Thank you, Steve.
All right, guys, and I'm looking forward to USA beating Paraguay tomorrow.
Hell yeah, brother. USA. Thank you, Steve. We'll talk to you soon. It's San Diego Sports 760. We crown our winner for Dave Chappelle tickets coming up next. If you've been leaving talkbacks for the entire show, if you're waiting to hear if your voice is going to be called, you will find out on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Hey, the US of A. We celebrate Team USA for the World Cup, but how about just the fact that America is turning 250 years old at San Diego Sports 760? We're celebrating by giving away $250,000 in cold hard cash. You can win a share of it. Listen for your chance to win $2,500, so you can take the ultimate American getaway, visit the states, the cities, and the national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250,000. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up with Sammy just after 2:00. You got to listen to go along with Sammy, and there will be a keyword in that hour where you could win $2,500. And if you listen to Sammy, you could take that $2,500 and go turn it into a whole lot more. Maybe a Valley View Casino and Hotel.
Oh yeah,
one of our dear sponsors.
And
on
you
this
can
show.
hit that South Korea Chechnya on both teams to score -110.
Sure.
If you listen to long shots earlier.
I took Korea money line also. Feeling good about that. Yeah.
Feeling good about the Koreans.
I'm
Shout out
looking
to
forward
South
to
Korea.
watching tonight, dude. I'm going to lock in on some soccer. I will say, we've been watching Mexico and South Africa the entire time here in studio.
Right.
Mexico put on an excellent performance. I think they were favored to win pretty good here. And they got South Africa has 2 red cards in this game, so they're down to 9 players right now. The one thing that we're all just going to have to get over, all of us who don't watch soccer regularly, the flopping is outrageous.
Oh,
Can I just throw that out there?
Well,
like, it's beyond outrageous.
No, it's outrageous. This is a problem with the sport in that guys get barely touched, kicked, and it's like they got shot.
I'll look past it because I'm excited about the World Cup and I'm ready for it. And I don't feel like it's as big a problem in the MLS. I really don't, because I've watched plenty of SDFC games and it happens a little bit, but it's not as prevalent. This stage, I think the guy bumped his knee accidentally on someone's thigh and went down as if he like literally tore every tendon in his body.
Well, and that is something that we've talked about with the NBA. Refs need to be on the lookout for guys who are intentionally trying to draw contact, flailing their body. And that's been something that Adam Silver's talked about. It's like, if we're all watching the game and can see it in the NBA,
I feel like the punishments need to go the other way.
100.
The flopper should get a foul.
Completely agree. Refs need to be on the lookout for this. Just like in soccer, look, I'm not some soccer expert, but some of this stuff, it's like, come on, like let's stop holding up the game.
I agree. All right, we got a winner for Dave Chappelle.
We do. We ran it through the randomizer. Oh, whoops.
We got a pair of tickets to give away. Dave Chappelle, the GOAT of stand-up comedy, is going to be at Viejas Arena on June 21st. If you would like to go see him, we'll have one more opportunity for you to win tickets tomorrow. John and Alan will also have a pair of tickets to give away today. Here is our winner for today. Sammy, smash.
Hi, this is Jake from San Diego. The Spurs are literally cooked after the debacle of what happened yesterday. The Knicks are surely going to win, and I see them taking it actually back in San Antonio. There's no way, absolutely no way that San Antonio can come back from that hideous defeat that they had. So that's it.
I tend to agree with Jake. And congratulations, Jake. You're going to see Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
Going to see Dave Chappelle. That's going to be a fun night. I wonder who's opening for him, man. Like last time, Chris Rock opening for him.
Dude, I remember that weekend because if people went at Viejas, shout out to the Viejas bookers, by the way. You had Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock on Saturday night, and Sandler played Sunday.
That's right.
I went to both shows, and he brought Rob Schneider out, and he killed. I didn't know Rob Schneider was that good at stand-up comedy because he'd just been on SNL.
He's fantastic.
And was unbelievable.
I don't know. I went to Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. That was one of the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. The way they interacted with the Jumbotron throughout the show too, especially Dave Chappelle
with his girl.
Jesus, man, I was dying laughing. So good. So we'll have another pair tomorrow. Schaefer and Sleewell will have a pair this afternoon. Sammy, you're giving away some Ziggy Marley tickets.
Ziggy Marley tickets. If you want to go to the show, leave us
the blood
some
of Bob
back.
Marley. Hell yeah, brother. I think he plays a bunch of his dad's songs. I know someone who went to his show last year in San Diego said it was amazing.
Hell yeah, we got something to give away. So send us some talkbacks.
Before we get off the air here, tomorrow you all have homework. You are taking the afternoon off. Sammy will write you a sick note. You're coming down to Little Italy, the Piazza della Familia. We are watching some World Cup action together. Sammy and I will be there. Schaefer and Sleewell will be there. Brent is going to be here. I wish he was there, but it's going to be a ton of fun out in Little Italy tomorrow, eating some Italian food, drinking some beer, watching some World Cup action. So if you want to join us, come on out. You can register, I believe, RSVP at sandiegofc.com, or you can just show up and, I don't know, do what Laura Kane did, find your way through security.
Just go in.
We'd love to see it. Come on out, enjoy it with us. Can't wait for tomorrow, man. It's going to be a ton of fun. All right, San Diego Sports 760. I will see you tomorrow. Sammy is going to see you coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are on their way to Baltimore to start a series with the Orioles tomorrow night. First pitch will be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos have signed coach Sean Payton to a new 5-year deal. Payton, who's 62, had 2 years remaining on his current contract. This new 5-year deal will replace that. In World Cup news, Mexico is leading South Africa 2-0. And you can hear Team USA's game right here tomorrow night starting at 5:30. Grinding and squeaking are signs that it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted name brand parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
Going long with Sammy.
That's going to be hot.
In depth on the story of the day. Plus, it's warm in the hot seat. Now, it's Sammy Long.
What the hell happened last night? That game was something to behold, man. The New York Knicks, I'll be 100% honest. So I was at a bar watching the game with some friends. And when they were up 29, I was like, it was down in North Park. So it's like, I'm gonna truck it home. And I'm like listening on the way home. I'm like, because they kept coming back. The Knicks were hanging around that. It was a 29-point game. Nothing was going right. I mean, zero was going right for the Knicks. And they start kind of coming back. I'm like, man, I need to like, I need to get home. Like I gotta watch the end of this game. That game was unbelievable. And then when they cut it to 10, it was something to behold. We're going to get into that here in just a second. Coach Quintera coming up at 2:30, talking some Padres. Tatis walk-off. Very excited. Very excited to see Tatis finally kind of come up in a big moment. Hopefully he can build on those home run numbers after, only having 2 this year. But could that be a turning point for the Padres? We're getting into that with him at 2:30, plus a lot more coming up on today's show. But, I mean, that game last night, if you're shoot us a talk back, Little Red Microphone, San Diego Sports 760 on the iHeartMedia app, top right corner. Who is most to blame? And you'll be in the chance to win Ziggy Marley tickets. We're going to be giving those away. Just your name. We want Ziggy Marley tickets. But who is most to blame for the Spurs losing last night? A, Mitch Johnson, B, Victor Wembanyama, or C, De'Aaron Fox. Now, Brian, you had a great comparison about what De'Aaron Fox did that could relate to some San Diego history.
I told you that I couldn't believe that I was agreeing with a Packer, but Micah Parsons put out on X that when De'Aaron Fox got that steal, not dribbling the ball out and letting them foul him instead of going for the layup, he said that was the equivalent of getting the game-winning interception and then fumbling it. And I was like, sorry, Chargers fans, but I was like, so De'Aaron Fox is basically Marlon McCree.
Right. Legitimately.
He had the game and then he just blew it with a bonehead decision. 2 of them actually, because then he went and committed the foul when the Knicks were kind of scrambling.
Well, and then the one that everyone's forgetting about. So he has the turnover with 2 minutes to go, the turnover at half court. Then he commits the foul and then he goes up for the layup and gets blocked. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is supposed to be the player on this team that's been there before, not in the NBA Finals, but he's played with the Sacramento Kings, was a leader on that team. If we all remember, they went that great 7-game series against the Warriors a few years ago. Now the Warriors ended up winning in 7, but that Kings team with Sabonis and him, best offense in the NBA that year. They just couldn't play a lick of defense. If that was Dylan Harper doing that last night, you're not going to give an NBA star a pass, but you can somehow go, okay, he's a rookie out of Rutgers, playing on the road at Madison Square Garden in Game 4, and he gave up the lead. You might be able to somehow be like, you know what, you feel bad for the kid a little bit. But De'Aaron Fox, they paid him $229 million, and for him to not come up clutch in that scenario, and not even just clutch, he has been a problem this entire postseason for them. Game 1, he was terrible. Game 2, I give him credit, 20 points in that game. Game 3, he had a big shot down the stretch. But besides that, he was awful last night. He was awful in the Thunder series. He's still dealing with that injury, but frankly, it's unacceptable. De'Aaron Fox getting the headlines. Wemby was not good. Missed his final 10 of 12 shots. Missed the 2 free throws at the end of the game. But if I'm a Spurs fan today, we've had some great texts, 70470, start your message with team. A lot of Spurs fans actually in San Diego. I mean, Mitch Johnson, how you let that happen. First off, coming out of half, knowing that you have a young team, Dylan Harper, 20 years old, Stephon Castle, 22 years old, Wemby, 22 years old. A majority of your starting lineup is young players. Knowing that you're on the road in Madison Square Garden, the place is going crazy, and you have a 29-point lead, knowing that at some point they were going to make a run. At home, you knew the Knicks were going to make somewhat of a run. Did anyone think they were coming all the way back to win it? I don't think so. But they weren't going to get beat by 29 points. And to be jacking up threes in the third quarter, left and right, knowing that anyone who's ever played basketball at any level knows that if you're shooting threes and you're missing, the ball's coming off the back iron or the front iron, easy transition buckets the other way for teams. So the one thing you can't do if you're the Spurs is give up easy buckets. That's number one. Number two, Mitch Johnson double teaming Jalen Brunson the whole game. Jalen Brunson was not having an efficient first half at all. Now, none of the Knicks were, but was not having a good first half. Now he ended up unbelievable with 36 and 12 of 25 overall. But he was 6 of 16 early in that game. So you're double teaming him, leaving guys open, because when you double team someone at 5-on-4, there's going to be someone left to open the corner, and they were giving open shots to the Knicks. That's number one. Number two. And then to keep Julian Champagnie in the game, who was getting abused defensively down the stretch, they finally take him out for Castle because they had to give Castle rest late in the fourth, but it was too late. It was already a 5-point game. The Knicks had all the momentum. Just Mitch Johnson, I really wonder. And you hate to punish guys for succeeding and still playing and the fact that it's June, but does Mitch Johnson get fired if they lose a series? Because that was coaching malpractice. In this team, there is no reason you lose that game. If Greg Popovich is coaching, they are not losing that game. I promise you. He is calling timeouts, going, stop shooting a three. You shoot a three, you're getting pulled out. Like that. That's what Greg Popovich would do. And Mitch Johnson was just letting these guys do whatever the hell they wanted. And it just felt like a massive mistake. CBS Sports had a great clip kind of talking about Mitch Johnson. Here's a clip from CBS Sports.
The dumbest coaching I've ever seen in my life. The dumbest. I don't even like using that word. The dumbest coaching. Like there is zero excuse for an NBA coach for that to happen.
It's a young coach.
The dumbest. I'm gonna say it again. Dumb will get you beat more than smart will help you win. And De'Aaron Fox was abysmal. Like he was throwing the ball out there, like uninterested. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
4 turnovers.
I mean, just not even like it was ridiculous what was happening. And then even the play at the end, I'm like, what are you doing? Like this is and then Wemby carried him. He needed the other guys to finish it up this game. But what they were doing, like Devin Vassell and Champagne, I'm like, guys, why are you jacking threes? Possession, time off the clock. Don't let them get extra or quicker possessions. I am dumbfounded by what the Spurs just did.
That was Chris Walker from CBS Sports, host for Inside College Basketball. I agree with him. De'Aaron Fox gets the headlines. In Wembanyama, it's funny because when you look at Wembanyama's game, and Brent, I'm curious what you think about this. It's like he's so dominant. But then at the same time, because he's like freakishly tall, 7'4", can shoot, we never really seen an athlete like him. The comparison would be Kevin Durant, except Victor Wembanyama's taller. But then it also feels like maybe it's just his youth. He disappears at times. Because like why during that run are you not just calling for the ball being 7'4", getting easy buckets? Like why are you, like Mitch Johnson deserves a lot of blame for allowing them to shoot that many threes, but why are you not calling the ball? Calling Castle and these guys over, go like, give me the effing ball down low. End of story. It feels like, and again, we're having this kind of, the Spurs are not dead. It'll be interesting to see how they come out in game 5. Do they kind of roll over and die considering they lost that game that way? Or do they come out, maybe the Knicks are on a little bit of a cloud 9, they're able to steal it at home. They are 5.5-point favorites. But it is funny, we've been having this conversation for like a month now. We've had a different NBA champion each of the last 8 years. and we named the Nuggets the next dynasty and the Celtics the next dynasty. Then it was the Thunder. Then when the Spurs beat the Thunder, it's them. And now the Knicks are one win away from winning it. So the NBA is so much more fluid than I think we give them credit for, that the league as a whole. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch every year. That was great basketball last night. Really fun to watch. All right, Fernando Tatis gets his second home run of the season, hits a walk-off. Did he turn a corner? We're going to get into that on the other side. Plus, Coach Quintera coming up in about 15 minutes, going long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
What are you doing?
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by the Goo Goo Dolls, Kenny Chesney, Lainey Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Weezer, and more. September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena out in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. The Capital One presale means card holders have first access to tickets right now, but only for a limited time. Add an access pass for an exclusive pre-concert event with Weezer, 48 hours while they last. Get yours at iHeartRadio.com/Capital One. The general public on sale starts tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Again, if you want to win Ziggy Marley tickets, little red corner, talkback mic, top right. Tell us why you want to win, or give us who is most to blame for last night for the Spurs collapse. Miss Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, or De'Aaron Fox. We'd love to hear from all of you. Padres, that was a big win last night. Yesterday. It was great seeing Fernando. There's been so many pressure spots this year that Fernando Tatis has not come through in. So, when he was up there in the 9th inning, and it felt like the Padres get after it in the 8th a little bit, but it was a big game in that you're playing another NL West contender, not NL West, NL contender to an extent, and that they're in the playoff hunt. In the Reds with no Elly De La Cruz, and the way you lost that game on Tuesday, when it's like, how did that happen? How did you lose that game? Manny Machado had the ability to just get a sac fly and win the game for the Padres. And at home, the Padres have lost too many series at home, taking on teams in the NL. So it felt like a big win. Fernando finally coming through in a big spot was great to see. And for all the criticism we've given Fernando over this year, and John Schaefer actually had us as Tatis in right field. Listen to these stats: a .219 batting average, and Tatis at second base is a .351 batting average. Now, people can read into those stats a lot. His OPS is creeping back up to around 700. His batting average currently at .281 right now. It's a small sample size, so it's hard to be like, oh, he's so much better at second base. Maybe it's a locked in thing. He wants to play second base more. I have no sources on that, but maybe it's simply that he's more locked in. It's counterintuitive because he's such a great outfielder, but it does feel like his bat is better in the infield. And Tatis has got a lot of criticism because where people point to Manny Machado and go, given his age, this isn't a pass for Manny Machado. He needs to play better. But you were wondering when he was going to slow down. Like, the bat speed looks like it's not quite there. We're going to talk to Coach Quintero in about 10 minutes. He kind of pointed that out to Fletch and I last week about the bat speed. I'm curious what he thinks now. And Fernando Tatis, though, to his credit, has it looked great? No. He, last Saturday had that ball that hit off the bag. In that series, it hasn't been with a lot of power, but to Tatis's credit, he has been getting on base. And if we're going off Billy Beane, what he said, Moneyball, does he care if it's a walk or a hit? He's getting on base. Now, Fernando Tatis is paid to be the franchise, so you'd like to see a little bit more. Brett back there, you'd like to see a little bit more. I don't know how to say it, pizzazz, especially from your best player in domination. But if this is what we're looking at right now, Tatis is getting on base. It's something to celebrate. Hopefully this kind of jumpstarts him because he came through in a pressure spot. It really felt like a low point of Tatis's career. Remember that Dodgers series, game 3 against Shohei Ohtani? Padres didn't end up scoring, but I believe it was 1 out, bases loaded, and he grounded into double play. And there were so many instances like that this year where they didn't come through, but 4-hit night on Tuesday, was able to hit the walk-off shot on Wednesday. So hopefully it's a little bit of a turning point, taking on Baltimore over the weekend. And, coming up here in a week or two, you got the Dodgers on back-to-back weekends. You got the Cubs in there and the Braves. So we're going to see if this team, because I give them a lot of credit for beating the Reds. They were missing Elly De La Cruz. They have a terrible bullpen. We're going to see if the Padres can really, if that was just a bad slump there for 3 weeks to a month, because the Padres are going to get all the opportunity in the world to beat good competition, the Braves and the Dodgers. They're the 2 best teams in baseball so far this year. It's a prime opportunity. You're going to get, I believe 9 games against them, 10 games against them total, cumulative, and the Cubs ain't no slouch either, even though they've tailed off a little bit. So this season really feels like over the end of June, beginning of July, could be a make or break 2 or 3 weeks, because if the Padres have a putrid record against those teams, probably not going to be able to climb back into the playoff conversation. If they're able to kind of climb themselves out of it, that's a different conversation. And if they're going to climb themselves out of it, it's going to be because Fernando Tatis kind of woke up. Now, Brent, I don't know if you saw this Aroldis Chapman story, but Aroldis Chapman, star closer for a long time with the Boston Red Sox. So he used to be a Yankee. And he said today, because there's rumors that the Yankees need a closer, he said that the general manager, Brian Cashman, needs to apologize to him personally if he's going to come back to the Yankees. So he made a big stink about this. Now, off the jump, I saw this story. It's one of the top stories on ESPN. And I highly doubt that the Red Sox are trading Aroldis Chapman to the Yankees. Now, the Red Sox are kind of bottoming out. But you got to think, like, if the Padres bottom out and somehow they were interested in trading Mason Miller, they damn sure aren't trading him to the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is what the equivalent of this would be if you traded Aroldis Chapman from the Red Sox to the Yankees. But he went in on a whole thing. He actually had an infection years ago when he got a tattoo, and so he was out for a week or two. He lost his closing role with the Yankees. I forgot who he lost it to. I'll get it up here. And then
Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes. Thank you. And then Brian Cashman fired back and said he was insubordinate. He benched him for an AL divisional series because he was late to a meeting. So kind of funny situation. But the thing I take from it is, especially given the Padres with Mason Miller, the Padres were linked to Aroldis Chapman. If you remember that a month ago, they were linked to Josh Hader and Aroldis Chapman to boost the back end. And I think a lot of people, when you heard that report, especially considering the course of the season, the offense has been so bad. And then if you were to upgrade the pitching staff, I think you would look to the starters certainly before adding to the bullpen. Do we overvalue closers? Like, do we overvalue that? Because a great closer is electric. It's like, it's the same kind of thing of having an electric. I think every Major League Baseball team looks to have an electric bat. Do you have that franchise player? An amazing starting pitcher is fantastic. And then to go far in the playoffs, you have to have someone shut down games. But we've seen Mason Miller be unbelievable. Edwin Diaz for the Dodgers is hurt right now, but he's a great closer. Johan Duran from the Phillies and Aroldis Chapman and Josh Hader certainly fit that bill. But you wonder if things start to spiral out of control. Now that's a whole different conversation, because if you get Mason Miller last year and then you ended up flipping him, what does that say for AJ Preller? AJ Preller traded Leo DeVries for Mason Miller. I don't see it happening, especially when Mason Miller is under control. But you are going to see a lot of teams calling. And the New York Yankees are a team specifically, especially we're talking about this Chapman and Brian Cashman story, which is kind of funny. The Yankees, considering they're in a bad AL, the American League, outside of the Yankees, Aaron Judge is hurt for 4 to 6 weeks right now in the middle of that, but they're still dominating. The Tampa Bay Rays were kind of the upstart. The Mariners have gotten back on track, and the Guardians. Outside of that, they don't really have, the AL is not very dominant. The NL is so much better. I wonder what the conversation becomes if the Yankees need a star closer. We've talked so much about Fernando Tatis. If this is only if the Padres spiral out of control. If we're talking about these next couple weeks of, yesterday being an anomaly and they're falling out of contention, if you get a grandfather offer, are people receptive to that? Do you think the Padres are receptive to that? Texas 70470. Start your message with team. Coming up next, the one and only San Diego radio legend, Coach John Quintera, usually joining Fletch and I at 1:30. Hopping on with me today at 2:30. That's coming up next. Going long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. The sport is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are on their way to Baltimore for their series with the Orioles tomorrow night. First pitch will be at 4:05. In NFL news, the Broncos have signed head coach Sean Payton to a new 5-year deal. Payton, who's 62, had 2 years remaining on his current contract. This new 5-year deal will replace that. In World Cup news, Mexico defeated South Africa 2-0. You can hear tomorrow's Team USA game right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 5:30. Grinding and squealing are signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted name brand parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little heat. Getting warm around here.
Light the fires, Big Daddy.
Who's next in the hot seat?
The legend himself, Coach John Quintera, San Diego Sports Talk. Go give his YouTube page a subscribe. Doing shows there multiple times a week. Coach, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Going well, Sammy. Just watched that first World Cup game, and Mexico gets a nice 2-0 victory. Very well could have been 4 or 5-0 probably over South Africa. Just too bad. Both teams had players sent off. South Africa, 2 players sent off with reds, and Mexico in stoppage time had a player sent off. So that's not a good way to start the World Cup. But hey, nonetheless, Mexico, very impressive win. They held on to the ball about 60% of the time, it seemed like.
Are you a big World Cup guy, Coach?
Yeah, I love soccer. You know, my oldest daughter was Division I college soccer player, and she played for the big powerhouse here in San Diego growing up, San Diego Surf. And of course, I was also the general manager and president of operations for 6 years with the San Diego Sockers, the indoor soccer product here in San Diego. So now I've been around it a lot more than people realize.
I'm curious your thoughts on the World Cup. So it's used to have been 32 teams got in the World Cup. Now it's 48. Do you like that? Do you think that will lead to more Cinderella runs or kind of more chalk?
Well, that's a tough one. I think on any given year, something could happen. The more games you played, the more I think there could be an upset. How it's going to go this year, only time is going to tell. But it is a worldwide sport, and if 48 teams are qualified to play in the World Cup, I guess we got to be okay with it. I mean, I enjoy it. The thing that I'm going to enjoy is the United States playing tomorrow night about 6:00 and not have to get up at 4:30 in the morning like we've had to do over the years, when we're asleep and they're playing. So we're going to get a lot more sleep here, hopefully the next few weeks, than we have in some of the prior World Cups.
100%. We'll be airing that game right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow night at 6:00. Coach, before we go to the Padres, I got to get your thoughts on last night's NBA Finals game. The Knicks coming back down 29. Who do you blame the most for the Spurs loss? Was it head coach and Mitch Johnson, Wemby missing the free throws, or Fox with the bad layup at the end?
Well, I think it's got to start at the head coach. I mean, you got a 29-point lead. They have a 15-point lead, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 15 or 17 going to the fourth. And, they're just jacking up threes right and left. And, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to limit the possessions of your opponent. And the one thing you also didn't want to do is allow the Knicks to score a couple of buckets and get everybody all fired up in that crowd. I mean, that crowd the last 2 games, even though San Antonio won Game 3, the crowd, the excitement at Madison Square Garden is just absolutely amazing. And you let that crowd get back into it. And, they ended up, great tip in there by Anunoby. And, but I think Mitch Johnson's got to bite the bullet on this one. I think he should have slowed it down. And, there's Sammy, you've watched a lot of NBA, and whether it's college basketball or whatever, you don't want to not try to score. But these guys are so talented. You can let that shot clock run down to, 10 seconds. Then you can get into your play. Now it's down to, 5 or 6 seconds. And then you shoot a shot. But you got to limit the possessions. And they just came down too unconventionally and just started jacking up threes. And it gave the New York Knicks all the possessions they needed in that fourth quarter. So I think it falls at the hand of the head coach, changing the tempo of that basketball game last night.
Coach John Katera joining me right now. Go shoot him a follow, subscribe on YouTube. San Diego Sports Talk, doing shows a few days a week. Coach Tatis, second home run of the season, unbelievable walk off last night or yesterday. Do you think he got his swagger back? Where are you at with Tatis? Because the power typically hasn't been there over the last couple of weeks, but his batting average has been going up.
Well, he's doing a good job of putting the ball in play, limiting his strikeouts, and he's going the other way a lot. He hit that line drive. I mean, it wasn't like that ball went way out of the ballpark like we've seen him in the past. But the bottom line, Padres needed a much needed win. I mean, I got to be honest with you, that Cincinnati bullpen. I don't know where they rank in Major League Baseball, but they got to be near the bottom. I mean, some of the guys who were running in there, they weren't very good. I was saying after the game they lost on Tuesday night, and they had the bases loaded, and Machado at the plate with one out. He swung through a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and then Sheets ended up making it out, and they ended up losing the extra inning. So yesterday was a really big win. They got an interesting road trip. They got 3 in Baltimore. And then they got to stop by and play. I think maybe one of the biggest surprise teams. I think the 2 biggest surprise teams for me in baseball this year are the Chicago White Sox and the St. Louis Cardinals, who the Padres are going to be playing early next week. And then they stop by and take on Texas. But then after that 9-game, 11-day trip, they come home and they got the Atlanta Braves and they got the LA Dodgers back to back. So as we work our way towards the end of June, we're going to find out just how good this Padre ball club is, I think.
I totally agree with you, Coach. It does, it's easier for the Padres when they play worse competition, but at the same time, you really are going to get a litmus test if they can really compete, because we know their record against the NL teams haven't been great so far this year. What do you make of Samad Taylor and Chase Bowen coming up? Because it really feels like they've kind of been a little bit of a lifeblood into this team. Do you think it's just kind of, people haven't scouted them yet, or do you think they could be legit big leaguers?
Well, Samad Taylor, he'd been in the big leagues, he played less than 40 games with a couple of different organizations. But, this guy had a really good spring training. He was off to a great start, really playing good ball down there in the Pacific Coast League at El Paso. And, I think he's a guy that's the energy guy. He can obviously help this ball club. And, the thing, Sammy, people haven't talked about, he's playing left field, and he's played a little outfield, but he by trade, he's actually a second baseman. And we haven't seen him at second base. And, I don't know. I mean, he might just be one of these guys that's going to end up being a bench guy, which I think that'll probably end up being his role. Chase Bowen, I think, has got some really good skills. He's going to have to probably shorten his swing a little bit at the plate, a little bit too long for the big leagues. And that's a big difference between good minor league hitters and big league hitters. Sometimes a big swing gets exposed up here, and they're really working that slider away to him, and he's having a hard time, number one, gauging it and picking it up, and let alone hitting it. But defensively, this guy's a pretty talented guy. He can go get the ball in the outfield. He got an extremely strong arm. Both these guys have done a good job. Samad Taylor's made some really nice plays out there in left field, and he had that throw, even though it was like a 3-hopper to the plate the other night. Bottom line, he got the runner out at the plate. So both those guys have brought in a little bit of energy to the ball club. And the Padres tomorrow night are expected to get Xander back in the lineup. He and his wife or partner, I don't know if they're married or not, but they were having a little baby boy, so he was on paternity leave. So hopefully they have a good road trip. They played really pretty well on the road this year. They've not been as good at Petco Park, but it's going to be an interesting stretch. The 9 games on the road and the 6 games coming home to Atlanta and the Dodgers.
Coach, you mentioned Manny Machado's bat speed last week when you were on with Fletch and I. Certainly Tuesday felt like a real low point for Manny Machado, not even getting the ball up in there when there was bases loaded, 1 out. Where are you at with Manny Machado? Do you see anything that could bring him out of this, or do you think he really is on the decline?
It's really interesting. I was on the phone about an hour ago with a former major league coach, and we were talking about Manny, and he wanted my thoughts on it. I go, well, man, let's take a look at Manny Machado, okay? Sammy, this guy came up at 19 years old in the big leagues. This guy had the best arm, the best bat, and the best glove, okay? I mean, this guy's a talented guy and has been for many years. And he's also an extremely smart baseball player. He's got a high baseball IQ. The problem Manny's going through right now is something he's never had to deal with, and that's his skills may not be quite at the top level as it once was. Father Time's undefeated, and I think for the first time in Manny's career, he's going to have to make some adjustments, and I think he's going through not only a physical challenge right now, a little bit with his bat speed and what he's doing at the plate, but I also think he's probably going through it mentally a little bit, probably a little frustrated. You might get angry, you might get mad, and I think at some point in time something is going to click. He'll figure it out. He'll come up with a timing mechanism that's going to work for him. But this happens to a lot of guys that are really, really talented. They can play on their ability for a long period of time, and the guys that start their skills, I don't want to say erode, because he's playing as good at third base as he's ever played. I mean, some of the plays he's made and the throws he's made, he's been incredible. But, he's going to have to make an adjustment. Some guys are able to do it. Some guys aren't able to do it. Manny's a good enough athlete. He's got enough of skills. I think he'll figure it out, but I think he's going through a really weird stage, probably more mentally than physically right now at the plate.
Coach John Gutera, the best doing it. San Diego Sports Talk. Go get him a subscribe on YouTube. Coach, how many shows you doing a week now?
Doing 3, Sammy. We do them at 9 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And tomorrow I've got a Dodger broadcaster, Tim Nevert, a good friend of mine, is going to join me at 9 o'clock tomorrow. And we're also going to unveil the most underappreciated major league player tomorrow on the program. And so maybe that'll get some people wanting to tune in. I've got a guy that I think is very underappreciated in Major League Baseball. Nobody ever talks about him, but we're going to talk about him tomorrow morning. And of course, we'll talk more tomorrow about the Baltimore Orioles and the Padres' big weekend series at Camden Yards.
9 a.m. San Diego Sports Talk. Be there. Definitely going to be. I'm going to be tuned in to it. Coach, you're the best, dude. We'll talk next week. All right.
All right, Sammy, keep it rolling. Enjoy the World Cup, and let's hope our Padres have a good weekend in Maryland.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Coach John Gutera, again, San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube. Go give him a subscribe. Always great getting catch up with the coach. On the other side, a little crossover action. John Schaefer, Alan Slewa going along. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. John Schaefer and Alan Sleewer are getting ready for Japan and Tunisia a week from Saturday.
That's right. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Huge in the building.
Huge.
Do you guys have good seats?
We have, I'd say, probably the best seats. That's why I say the best seats.
You saw where Taylor Swift was last night at MSG?
Where she was?
You guys down there?
We're not in that equivalent. We're not in the equivalent seat for the soccer match.
Right, but we would be able to see her from where our seats are.
We would see her
with
ponytail.
Binoculars or with your eyes?
I think
binocular eyes.
It's probably up for debate.
Yeah.
I wish they had, if there's one thing that I hated during yesterday's game, I did not see Taylor Swift enough.
And are you guys going to get matching shirts like them?
And that to me was probably was more disappointing than De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama. I didn't see Taylor Swift enough at the Knicks game, and apparently she's been a Knicks fan
all her life
for 38 years.
Can I be honest with you? I have never been as excited as she was during the entirety of this game.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
For anything
true.
Since I was like 7.
Yep. I got a Super Nintendo. I got a Super Nintendo growing up.
But were you jumping up and down for 3 hours and 15 minutes?
Not like
that.
Right?
If you
had
an hour, if you had a net worth of $1 billion, and then you were just like, yeah, screw it, I'll drop $600,000 to sit courtside in Game 4.
She's not dropping anything.
Bro, let me tell you something.
They're paying her to be there.
You think she's not paying anything?
She probably paid in total in yesterday's entire
$20
excursion, maybe $8,
yeah.
And it was like some fee that came with something else. She didn't pay anything.
All right, so what celebs?
You heard Stiller, or who? Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller,
who's been going to Knicks games forever. He said he was asked either by TMZ or elsewhere, like, how do you pay for all these tickets? Like, I'm not paying for these tickets.
Yeah.
The Knicks give me these tickets.
Of course.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's a game being played.
Okay, but
there's a game within the game.
But so if you're the Knicks, you're passing up $600,000.
No, I'm sure there's math to it. I'm sure some of those tickets they're getting paid for.
And by the way, what celebs qualify? Does Fat Joe qualify? Does Timothy Chalamet qualify?
Yeah. Apparently, since how much they show these people. I mean,
Chris Rock.
They showed, but some of those names, OGs.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how it's done with the Lakers. I don't know if DiCaprio wants to go, but I'm pretty sure if DiCaprio wants to go, it's like, DiCaprio, we're not.
Someone will pay for it.
We're not sending you a Ticketmaster fee.
Isn't it though that the agency pays for it?
Maybe.
They're paying for the ticket.
Maybe.
It's not. They're not just giving away free courtside seats.
Here's what I was saying. Well, John Starks ain't paying to sit in the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys that played for the Knicks.
That's true.
I don't know how it all plays out.
Do you know when the game really changed for me? There was a moment when Taylor Swift had a moment. I don't know if you saw it.
You're gonna get canceled by the Swifties.
But she had a moment where she started cheering, and then all of a sudden, De'Aaron Fox turnover after turnover. It was just completely changed everything.
It was all because of Taylor. Is she going to be in San Antonio for Game 5?
I doubt it.
Oh, season ticket holder.
I think we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
That building. Did we talk about it yesterday? No, I didn't talk about it with you yesterday. I say 55% Knicks fans. The price has gone up over $1,000 per ticket.
Oh, you're saying for Game 5.
Because everyone wants to see it close out.
I think everyone will make that trip.
No, not 55, but it will be up there.
It'll be huge, dude. Even games 1 and 2 every time.
Listen, if you're 25% of a road audience, that's a lot of people.
But that's and shame on San Antonio for they're not geocaching the location. That's what the Mavericks started doing.
They would rescind season tickets if they were sold. But are they really going to do that if 5,000 people sell their tickets? Are you really going to rescind season tickets?
Here's why it's different. It's different. Like, I don't know. The Red Sox hadn't won a World Series in how many years?
86.
And when they win it, they win it against St. Louis. Did they clinch it?
Yeah,
St.
Louis is sweet.
But it was against St. Louis. You'll have you're not going to geo-target that. But you geo-target if you're the Padres and you got a playoff game against the Dodgers, you can geo-target. Yeah. But like Knicks and Spurs,
the Thunder have done that.
If somebody wants to go, they're going to go.
Oklahoma City was one of the ones that did that.
To who?
They were playing Dallas
and kept Dallas out because beat them 6-7 hours.
You know, it's like close enough.
Yeah, San Antonio, OKC is only 7-hour drive. I learned in the Western Conference Finals. So you could the thing is, Knicks fans have so much money. Not all of them, but like look at what's playing out. To your point, in the crowd, they see this as a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're going to make the
brother.
Trip,
you don't have to be a celebrity or a millionaire. Your team may win their first championship since 1973.
And
people will go into their savings, credit card. Like people want to see this.
And by the way, if they win a title, if you're New Yorkers understand it, it's not like you're guaranteed another one.
No.
Knicks could go another 50
No, you have
years.
the Jets in your city.
Yeah,
come on.
you have the Yankees, but yeah.
The Yankees is very true. Do you guys see, I was talking about quickly, you guys see that Aroldis Chapman story today?
No.
The Yankees were rumored to possibly be pursuing him to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
He wants an apology from Brian Cashman because of how he was treated during his tenure with the Yankees, because he got benched. He lost his closer role, and Cashman got after him for insubordination. So Aroldis Chapman, they want to bring him back, wants a personal apology from Brian Cashman.
They might not bring him back then. Right, would be my guess.
I'm like, it's funny because I'm like, why would the Red Sox ever trade someone to the Yankees? That'd be like the Padres trading someone to the Dodgers.
There was a ridiculous trade between the Padres and the Dodgers in the last few years, but it was like a
meaningless trade.
Matt Beatty.
Matt Beatty.
But ridiculous in the sense of they don't make trades, but it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Chapman, that would be surprising.
Yeah.
Like you would give like an all-star closer to.
Got the examples of the free agents though, like the Johnny Damon type player that have made the flip.
But that was their decision, right?
Yeah. Of course.
Hero Chapman wants a personal apology. He actually wants 100 New Yorkers to also send him an apology.
What's on the show today?
Is Swifty a huge Yankee fan too, or is that not?
Well, she's a Chiefs fan.
She's a Chiefs fan. Okay.
Why is she a Chiefs fan?
She's a Chiefs fan.
Yep.
For multiple.
I thought she's an
reasons.
Eagles fan. Seriously.
But she used to be an Eagle fan, right?
You can't be an Eagles fan and a Knicks fan. That's a disqualifier.
This is her team.
You can't be a Philadelphia
plays.
Eagles fan.
And she was, by the way, at the Cavs Knicks game when it was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Well, that was
the best.
Without Knicks gear on.
That was
T.
the best.
Kelsey's. Yeah, because
that was the best.
Yeah.
I couldn't I felt like every angle ended up there. I'm like, okay, can we show the game?
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like they were showing the game.
Show some respect to Tay, Alan. Gosh, what's on the show today?
Okay, you ready for we're talking about the World Cup underway with Warren Barton, who lives in San Diego. He's a commentator on the second match here tonight with the World Cup underway. He'll join us at 4 p.m.
We're going to talk a lot of NBA Finals too. That was literally one of the biggest collapses I've seen in the history of sports. So we'll spend a lot of time on that. AC had a really good article on Manny Machado.
Wait till you hear what Manny said about himself.
Yeah, very honest. Let's put it that way.
Let's call it tease. All right, these boys on the other side. We're going to be down Little Italy tomorrow at the Piazza. Come through, say hi, talk to everybody then.